The Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
Brand new Ernie Ball strings on there too. I was just out there in the. God love us all.
Damn, damn, damn!
All right. Welcome, everybody. Right now, Krellbar's in blackout mode. Let's welcome everybody to the show. It is Wednesday. Folks, it's Wednesday. It is October 18th. This fucking year is flying by. Let's say hello around the horn. We haven't seen him for a while. Welcome, Jerry, back to the show. Jerry, welcome.
Jerry from the pit.
Across from Jerry, we haven't seen him for a while. Say hello to Zim, everybody.
What's
up, Zim?
Very good.
Welcome, John Bingham in the bottom left today in the George Goebel section.
Very good.
And instead of Triumph the Insult Dog, we have Krellbar in his position today in the bottom
Bruce
right.
Blanche. I'm in the wrong square. I'm in the wrong square.
All right. Welcome, everybody. It is Wednesday. I just finished a day of lessons. Thank goodness. And yeah. And what else is in the let's not discuss hard news, folks. We know what's going on around the world. There's nothing but chaos. But what's going on in the music world, gentlemen? Anything interesting? Anyone?
Sure. Plenty of interesting stuff going on.
What have you got for us, Bingham?
Namely, the Yngwie Malmsteen interview from Rick Beato.
I heard about that. Now, wait a second. Let me see something real quick. I think I have a still frame of the show. Let me just post it for everybody. This is Yngwie on Rick Beato's. Let's take a look at what we got here. Oh, wait a second. I'm getting word from my producer that's actually Sweetums from the Muppets. My bad. I should have known when I didn't see all the bracelets on him.
That's fantastic.
The Sweetums predates the Snuffleupagus.
Yeah.
Does anybody
Well,
remember?
yeah, I think Sweetums.
Really?
Sweetums came about, I think, in now call me crazy because I could be wrong here.
You're crazy.
1971, there was a Jim Henson production of The Frog Prince.
Correct.
And
That's where it
Sweetums, yes,
Yep.
agreed.
Part of that.
I would say that was before Snuffleupagus.
Definitely. Snuffleupagus
Yeah.
is like 77, man.
No, not that late.
Well,
Here's a great question. You guys remember my favorite Sesame Street song is Pinball Count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Name the band. Name the girls singing.
Grace Slick.
Anybody?
is it Irene Cara?
Nope. Anybody else?
Grace Slick.
No idea.
It's not Grace Slick. I heard you the first time. I said no.
Mhm.
Who are the girls singing Pinball Count?
Oh, one. Oh, okay.
There's
Helen
4
Reddy.
girls singing. 1,
Oh,
2,
I'm
3,
thinking
4,
of the
5.
other one. I was thinking of the other one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the Pointer Sisters, everybody.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The
Crazy,
one I was
isn't it?
thinking was the one that goes dill, 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 dill. Where was it? Oh, geez, I forget what the melody was, but it was like almost like punk rock.
Oh, okay. I don't know. All right. So, how was that Ingve interview? Sorry for sidestepping you, but how was that?
I loved it personally.
You did.
Loved
I
it.
got to
Yeah.
watch it tonight.
I think look, I get why everybody hates the guy. I get it because I think for years and years he was a probably a pretty big douchebag, but he's super relatable now.
I'm sure.
I listen to him now talking, and he just comes across like the kind of guy who doesn't have time for a lot of bullshit.
Right.
Somebody's like, "Hey, Ingve, what? Yeah, how do you like to parallel between these modes?" And he's just like, "I don't fucking know. I don't care."
Yeah.
Hey, Ingve, how many genders are there? He's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? There's 2."
He chilled.
Shut up.
He chilled
I
out
love
once
it.
he started
He's-
eating donuts.
That's just yeah. Well, he was heavy for a minute, but so were we.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Listen,
He's shaking.
I was
he's
listening
shaking that.
this
He looks pretty
week
good for his age, I gotta
to
say.
Alcatraz's first album with Ingve,
Mhm.
and his playing on it on Karina Kuri and Jet to Jet.
Precise.
Forget about it. He's a monster.
Bigfoot.
But let me tell you, I've been watching Two Set Violin. I don't know if you guys watch this channel. It's fantastic.
Monster.
And they were talking about Paganini, and they were like, well, the guy was really a virtuoso, but really never wrote anything decent. And doesn't that remind you of somebody? But you know what's funny is, so they were watching, they took the Harvard music test on this show. Did you ever see that one, Zim? When the guys took the Harvard music test. Anyways,
No.
they play some song and they're like, which one is closer in tune? And they brought up a decent argument because the answer was wrong, but they were basically like saying there was a guy who was flat, and let's say the guy was, let's just say for all intents and purposes that it's 30 cents flat. Well, then they play him 15 cents sharp. And it's like, which one's more out of tune? Well, 30 cents flat's more out of tune, but 30 cents flat's more palatable than 15 cents sharp.
Correct.
So you
Oh, yeah,
can't
sharp goes
really sit there and say, well, and then they had a thing about stuff being in rhythm and beats and stuff. And first of all, for a classical musician, like I've worked with classical musicians, it's very tough because classical musicians are trained from, lots of practice. They practice a piece, and then there's a flow and there's a pulse in the piece where the speed and the tempo and the feel change constantly. You can speed up if the section gets louder. I mean, the music dictates it. Whereas in our music, we play very, on the dime and whatnot. And just by saying that, I was also thinking, I did a session once where a guy played me this drum track that he built, like it was a fake drum track. And everything was balls on the grid in Pro Tools. And before I didn't even look at the grid, I listened to it and I said, you got to nudge the snare back just to hear. And so he did. And he was like, wow, that is much better. And I'm like, forget what the grid says because it sounds fake. A natural feel is going to have a certain thing, And what's funny about this is I was thinking about this. And then today in my feed on YouTube came up live Wanton song with Jimmy Page and Robert Plant. And I was like, well, the drummer's playing it pretty good, but he's like playing the snare on time. And if you listen to the Wanton song on the record, a lot of those hits that he hits is almost, it's pulling on late. It's a little lazy behind the beat. It's like, dun, 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 dun. You know what I mean? It comes in just a hair behind where you want to hear it. And to me, that's part of the song. And so, I just thought it was funny because even though it's not correct, it feels better. And so music is so subjective, basically, is my thought to this.
It is?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
What's the name of the drummer? What's the name of the drummer that was John? Oh, Nigel Olsen. Sound late with those slow piano grooves that Elton did. Nigel had
Yeah.
slow grooves and it just the snare would just barely pop. Then
Yeah, well, a lot of those English guys played as Paul Stanley likes to say, English. No, they play laid back. They play a little behind the beat. It's a group, and there is something like if you listen to when I worked with Ray Luzier from the guy he plays in Korn now, but when I worked with Ray, we were doing a cover for a film, and we were doing the Genesis song, Land of Confusion. Now, I had a little leeway. He wanted me to put a big, angry flair onto it. And I said to him, I want to lean into it. I don't want to play it on the backbeat the way he plays it. I want to play it more forward. You know the song on the Genesis album called Just a Job to Do? There's no more than in my life. Well, bang, 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 and down you go. You know that song? Anyway, it's called Just a Job to Do, but the drums lean forward in there. And so I was like, I want to lean the song forward. And, there's, even though you're playing in time and you're doing it, there's a method to that. That's a human natural thing.
Just a Job to Do is on Genesis.
Yes, it is from 1983.
Record. That's the one.
Great record. Yep. By the way, what's on? Mama's on that. That's All's on it. What was the other? Home by the Sea is the greatest tune.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard that whole record.
It's fantastic
from that record.
Yeah, it's a great album. Great record. All right, what else? I got all that off my chest. What else has been going on?
Suzanne Summers died.
Suzanne Summers be dead.
The girl in the white T-bird.
I don't know if anybody in the chat knows, but John works for an amplification company. He works for Bad Cat.
This is true.
And lately, and Jerry is also big into amplifiers, and I know Zim sells amps. He bought I saw you bought another locker. And
oh, cool.
But let me just say this. I've been looking at amps lately, and I think the greatest guitar amp of all time, I think it might be the Fender Vibroverb, which means I might have to grab. What's that?
Brown face?
Blackface, AB763 version, 64. AB763 is the circuitry from July of 63, but it was a 64 Vibroverb. Basically, the Stevie Ray Vaughan amp. John Mayer used it for a long time. 115, exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Nice. So I've been looking at a vintage sound amps, and I'm so close to pulling the trigger on his version of it. And Rick Hayes, if you guys remember, we had him from Vintage Sound Amps. He'll be coming on in the next few weeks to talk about a new amp he has and talk about some of his old amps. He also makes what's called a 40 MVP, which is his version of the Vibroverb, which is, I don't know if you know this, Jerry, but the Vibroverb, the Super Reverb, the Pro Reverb, all three amps are the same, and the Twin. Just different. Well, the Twin has higher wattage. Right. Those are all 40 watts with different speaker configurations, but they never had a 112. So he makes a 112 version as well. But I think I want to go with the 15. There's something about that headroom.
Oh,
yeah.
Fucking.
Agreed.
It's just the whole sound on steroids, really.
It's so clean and goodness.
Yeah. What does he use for a speaker? Some sort of Jensen? A Jensen type?
I think it could be a warehouse. Whatever one. It's one that he sourced out that he really likes.
I don't think I've heard any of his amps in person.
Yeah.
I saw one on Craigslist here for like $1,100 the other day, and I just looked it up right now to see if I could find it, and it's not there anymore.
Silver Face Baseman.
Is it Baseman 10?
What do you mean? Is it say 10? What does it say on it?
I can't read it, but I think it looks like a 10.
Baseman 50.
Oh, it's a 50. Okay.
Let's zoom him in here. Hold on. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's a beaut.
Pretty clean.
Yeah. That's a beaut.
70, 74, 75. Something like that.
You can never get too bright for me, Han Solo.
72 to 76.
Okay. Yeah. The golden era. The silver face with the turquoise.
Yeah. 72
so
to 76 or something.
Yep.
I seen on Reverb, I was looking at a Tremolux. That's one of the good ones too. I like the AB763 circuit. That's kind of where I'm heading, which is basically a deluxe reverb, but that's the 6V6 22-watt version. Han Solo says the 15 is so bright. Have you heard me play in person? You can't get bright enough for me. Listen, Stevie Ray, go listen to Stevie Ray play Lenny live. Is there a better sound? Also, that Laith Al-Sadi uses those as well. He uses the vibroverbs.
His toners is fantastic.
Fantastic.
Oh, up and down.
Fantastic. And so does and John Mayer used it for years. It's a real nice, it's a real tone jack.
No, the 15's really a nice sounding speaker. It just makes you sound bigger. If you're gonna have one.
Kenny Isaac's in the audience tonight. Kenny, welcome to the show.
Zim's playing with the nipple there, the way he fondled
right.
that.
It was a little tweak.
Kenny in the chat, just so you guys know,
you go.
Kenny's the guy that plays percussion with me in those live shows you've seen.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I like it bright. So to me, it's more about the headroom, and I don't know, there's a clarity in that vibroverb sound that every time I hear it, I'm like, oh my God. Which is why, I mean, of course, I'd rather schlep around a 1x12, but a 1x15, if it sounds that much better.
What is it really?
And they already have a Hot Rod Deluxe with a 1x12, and, you know, it's all right.
Cork
Hot Rod
sniffing,
Deluxe.
Dave.
Yeah.
You're entitled.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah,
You're making money doing gigs. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't care. It's just
exactly.
I do dig the Dave with the book. Exactly, Hannah Baum. You got it. It's a real amp jack. But yeah, so Jerry, what were you holding up in your hand? There was a guitar in your hand. Did you want to show?
No. That's just.
Okay.
You know what though? Hold on.
Let me blow you up.
This was such an impulse buy. I bought it because it's this fucking wacky gold, silver.
Looks like a Stratocaster.
Yeah. It's a Mexican. Is it a player kind of thing? And anyhow.
Well, let me answer Johnny in the chat real quick. Johnny's asking if those Fender amps are not a series. So the series is the Blackface, and in the Blackface series, there are a few amps that are the same amp, but they have different speaker configurations. So in a Vibroverb, you have a 40-watt AB763 circuit with a 1x15, whereas you could have a super reverb with 4 10s or a pro reverb with 2 12s. Or 2 10s. There was no 12s. And but the same circuit was in the Twin, which was an 85-watt, and the same circuit is also in the Deluxe Reverb, which was a 22-watt. But there was also other amps. The Princeton was an 11/6/4 circuit, and I think the Vibrolux was a 9/6/4 circuit. So those are different. But yeah, and then after 68. Hey, Carl. Hey, Carl. What's going on? Oh, Carl, I've been smoking too much. I had an 8x60 today, a JFR jackhammer. That thing took me almost 3 hours to smoke. I loved it.
I'm entertained a little bit by the conversation about all the different Fender circuits in the Blackface era, because it's like, look, we made 7 different circuits that all pretty much sound the same.
They all do.
Yeah, and it's like the same. It's the same thing with anything, Marshall. It's like,
but the problem is, when you get to the Paul Revere reissues, then they suck.
What are you talking about?
Because, like the reissues,
like
when
you're
you
talking about, his modded stuff from Fender.
Well, not just modded, but like when they reissued the Vibrolux, they took out the negative feedback loop. And you and I are very familiar with. Remember, we used to show people the custom Vibrolux.
Yeah,
it was noisy as piss.
It was noisy, but it was still kind of a good sounding amp.
Great amp, but he took the part that made it quiet. He took out.
Yeah, I wonder if I don't think negative feedback would make it quiet.
I think it does.
It would tighten up certain frequencies, but it shouldn't really affect whether it's a noisy, shitty amp. I think that the design of it being noisy is something else that's crappy.
Oh no! I talked to an amp tech, and he was like, "If you get a new one, I'll mod it I'll make it like the original." And he said it would quiet the amp way up. And I could have sworn he said he had to do the negative feedback loop. It might have been something else, but something is making that amp too noisy.
Well, there's another one from the same era where that came out called the Fender Pro. Oh, is it the Pro Sonic? Is that the one Bruce Zinke designed? It was like a high gain channel on one side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Supersonic.
No, Pro Sonic before the Supersonic.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That had the same sort of problem. It's like a parasitic noise problem that the custom Vibrolux had, and I don't know why. I mean, I just don't know why.
Yeah, I was told it had something to do with Rivera's changes to them, that he doesn't like negative feedback loops.
Yeah, but I mean, you could take like an AC15 or an AC30. It doesn't have a noise problem, and it has no negative feedback.
Yeah, but those are also Class A amplifiers.
Not technically. They call them that. It's not true.
Right. All right.
None of that. I had to read a whole fucking stupid dissertation on what Class A actually is, and it ain't that. Everybody calls it that, but there's limitations on how much wattage you're actually putting out in order for a tube to be able to accurately be Class A.
Right.
It's a lot lower than what a 30-watt amplifier would give you. So it's common language in the industry, but it's not accurate.
Carl Peace is saying
I'm being
Nate size.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think they're trying to lay claim to the Vox sound, Class A.
I don't know, but I will say this. I think the Princeton, the 1164 circuit is different enough from the AB 763, whatever they did, because the Princeton, I don't know, doesn't have that. It's a little bit more mid-range sounding than the other one is, which is more mid-scooped.
What's it, a 12-watt amp?
Yeah, but I mean, technically it is a 12-watt amp, but some people mod them. I mean, make them, clone them, and use bigger. Mainly it's that amp because it has a real shitty weak transformer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Rick does one where he puts in a stronger one. You can get it at 20 watts, but still the amp's voice in general is more mid-range than I would say a deluxe reverb.
I wonder if it has to do with the boxiness of the
I don't know.
Combo shell, because that always makes things sound more mid-rangey.
Yeah, that's a good question. Although
I don't know.
Rick makes a deluxe reverb. I'll have to ask him when he's on the show, because he makes a deluxe reverb single channel and puts it in a Princeton cabinet, which is real interesting.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear that. A deluxe reverb seemed like they have good amount of mid-range to begin with. They don't sound as scooped as like a twin to me.
Yeah, well, the twin is the 7.6. Well, that's the same circuit, but a different tube set. Yeah.
By the way, I've been messing around with pedals. My desk is covered in pedals. I haven't played this one in a while.
Ooh, the DOD 250. You really have been listening to Yngwie.
Well, I went digging through my closet and pulled out a bunch of overdrive pedals because of that thing today. I was like, I have that stupid DOD that I don't play. I'm going to try it.
Cheech is asking you, Bingham, if you've seen the movie Zapped with Willie Ames.
Scott Baio?
Oh, no. He's asking, is it easy to get zapped while working on amps?
Probably. I haven't yet, but I'm sure it would be very easy.
Well, let's go back to the movie Zapped.
Just find yourself,
Scatman Crothers, LaWanda Page.
Any part of the circuit where the 400 volts are running through and put your finger on it. It's that easy to get zapped. Oh, I wanted to mention something about this pedal though, because I played it today for the first time in a million years, and I played it through the Marshall clone that I made. It is very different. Very different from a tube screamer.
Which one is?
The DOD 250. I haven't played it. I haven't given it much thought because I'm so firmly entrenched as like an SD1 or a tube screamer.
Isn't it more like a Rat?
No, it's not. No, not really. It's not hard clipping like that. It's got a lot of gain, but it's not like hard clipping. When you turn the gain all the way up, it's nothing like a Rat.
Kenny Isaacs, real quickly before I go to Jerry. Kenny Isaacs, it doesn't matter what the wood is as long as it's light. I don't give a fuck if the thing's made of plywood. I don't care. Give me a light amp. This thing behind me, I don't know what the hell Mace is using for it, but it feels like it's the petrified forest. Unacceptable. I see that, Zim. That thing's awesome.
Lead infused fucking cabinets.
Let me boost.
You can't X-ray inside of a Mesa Boogie.
Right. And then let me show this amp here. What are we looking at here? Deluxe reverb.
Old deluxe reverb. That's cool.
Yeah.
Electric.
Yeah. It's Fender Electric, so it's pre-65.
So this is why I brought this out, because you had mentioned like mid-rangey.
Yeah. This
sounds very Marshall-y to me, to my ears.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so it's got that kind of boxy thing. And I got a bunch of different, Fender style amps and whatnot. And I like the the pine cabinet from the 50s, the solid wood. And
when you say that sounds Marshall-y, are you saying it sounds like you bought it at Marshall's?
I kind of did. I kind of stole this from somebody else. It didn't work at the time.
Is it a 64? What year is that?
Yeah, dude, it's a 64. It's the fucking like holy grail.
That's real cool.
I know. I see it says Fender Electric. I just wasn't sure when that label switched. I knew it's in 65. I just didn't know if it was in January or when they switched that to Fender Music Company.
Yeah, that's cool.
This thing's pretty clean. It's cool. It's got the Wurlitzer sticker on the back. So somebody at Whirly's worked on it back in the day.
Look at. Hold on. We got the. Looks like an Digitech 11. Yeah.
Well, I've got one of those.
Digi 11, whatever the hell they.
Yeah,
I have one of those.
Those are good.
What are you selling that for, Zim?
$200.
That's why I got mine for brand new.
Yeah, they don't have a ton of resale value, but they're worth every penny. $200.
Sure it is.
All day.
Folks, $200. I would be calling Zim immediately. I don't know why you guys are still watching.
Yeah, worth it all day.
34 people in the chat. Yes. No one's calling them. This makes no sense. Zim, I'm putting up your phone number. Hold on.
Folks, there's only one left.
That's a steal.
Yeah,
Soldano
I got the wrong one up. Hold on. I got Jerry up. Hold on. Wrong one.
I did
my first day, folks. Where is it?
I did a YouTube video specifically about that unit like 3 years ago, talking about how it's still relevant, and it got lots and lots of views.
Oh, they took away my
I think people should absolutely buy that. That's a super good unit.
Yeah.
It came out originally in like 2008. And
it's like $900 or something. Or
yeah. But they updated it, I think, all the way up to about 17 or 18, and then they stopped updating it around then. But it's killer. All right, buy that one from them. Let's go.
And they had a big closeout on them for like $199, and that's why I grabbed mine in 2018.
Cheech makes a comment. He says Fender hasn't changed their guitar amps since their inception. Unfortunately, they have. And unfortunately, since about the 65 Blackface came out, there's probably been no huge amp innovation of any kind from any company. They're all ripping them off. I mean, Marshall is just a Bassman reimagined, and the original Boogie amp is a Bassman reimagined into the size of a Princeton cab. But it's basically Fender's. I mean, what's his name? What's the guy used to get work done?
The Boogie's not a Bassman reimagined. It's Blackface reimagined. He's still to this day. No, I'm telling you, he still to this day does the EQ in front of the gain. So it's that, whereas the Bassman and the Marshall circuits is the EQ on the other side of it.
Right, but he took the original Boogie amp is a Bassman that he put into a Princeton chassis. And he says people always get it wrong and think it's a Princeton. He says it's not. He had to. It's the Bassman reimagined into a Princeton.
Yeah, he wanted that size format, that little combo. That just.
But it's a 59 Bassman. I thought he modified the one that he gave to Santana.
Is that right?
100%.
Well, for whatever
We'll
reason,
have
he
Krellbauer
still-
look it up. He's our
for whatever reason to this day.
am I looking up here?
Adds the
I was
EQ
looking
on
something
the
else
wrong
up.
side of the
Original
gain
Mesa
structure.
Boogie.
yeah, well, that's because he doesn't know what he's doing. I can tell you. Let me tell you, Boogie makes a great distortion. Their product and the dual rectifier, I love the distortion. But if you want to get the most rounded amplifier, in my opinion, I think the Bogner Shiva sounds the best in all formats. Dirty.
This is
clean.
what it says. It says Mesa
much is
Boogie
it?
began with a
money?
practical joke when Smith was commissioned to secretly convert the 20-watt Fender Princeton of a local guitarist into a significantly louder 100-watt amp without altering its appearance. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, he put a basement in.
Yeah, okay.
He took everything out and used a basement.
He
as the-
accomplished this, blah, blah, blah. Asked Carl Santana, blah, blah, demo the amp. Mason name. Okay, 70s and the Princeton Boogie. Okay, so they're still saying it was a Princeton.
Princeton is the cabinet. That's what the size was.
Okay,
I
let me see.
watched
if
him on an
basements
interview
in,
when he talked about what he did. Is he took the chassis, took everything out, and somehow managed to get the basement, rewire the whole
Stuffed it
thing
in
with the
there.
basement. 59 basement.
It just fits, man.
Okay, he accomplished this by replacing the amplifier section with that of a Fender Bassman and replacing the 10-inch speaker with the 12-inch speaker.
Yes.
Correct.
To ensure the joke would work, Smith asked Carlos Santana, customer at Prune Music, to demo the amp.
Carlos, who played it out of tune, said it's this thing boogies. Wait.
Well, he did say, man, that amp really boogies.
I know he did, but I embellished it with the fact that the guy can't ever play in tune.
I like that joke. I have a guy, the lead amp tech over at Boutique Amps Distributions, this guy named Mike, and he has a great saying. He's like, Randall Smith is a genius. He's the only guy I know that can make a tube amp sound solid state.
Oh, that's great. Mikey High Night. Yeah, I like the Vox AD 50 VT. For me, it's a great practice amp, and especially a practice if you're practicing with a band. I bring the 30 VT when I do like rehearsals with bands, just so I don't have to schlep all kinds of gear. I'm not bringing my stage gear to a fucking rehearsal. I'll bring a little amp like that, and it works great. Bingham says, "Get a Bandit." That was my first amp.
I bet you could take that PV Bandit that you had when you were a kid and make it sound good today.
Yeah, I made it sound good then.
There you go.
I mean, you have to you fight for what you play with. You know, it's if you play in tune and you play in time, you're gonna sound good no matter what. I mean, God, I wish this were true with Dimebag though. Dimebag's tone's awful, but I mean,
How about
it's
when he
still
switched to
listenable.
crank?
Terrible. That Frankenstein is the Frankenstein is that is awful. That is worse than the. Oh wait, we got another Vox in the picture.
Which one
here.
did you
Hold on.
have? You had a crank. Oh, you still have it. Is that
I
Revolution?
still have it. Yo, Revolution 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cute. How many watts?
AC 15. What is that?
Nah, that's a Pathfinder.
Oh, Pathfinder.
Solid
It's an
state.
old Pathfinder. Is that a 70s? Or maybe 80s?
It is.
Yeah,
I was going to ask if it was all-wheel drive, and then I looked at it was covered with mud, and I said, "Yep, it is."
I remember when Marissa Tomei said, "I've never heard of Vox Pathfinder getting mud stuck inside it." Sorry, that was a real stretch.
John is wrong.
I'm a Marissa Tomei fan. And I don't know that.
He's
reference.
wrong. Yeah, he's doing fucking
Mud in the
Marissa
tires?
Tomei
My
on the
cousin
stand.
Vinny.
Oh,
I never heard of
wait.
Mud
What was that
With
from?
the traction.
My cousin.
My
did.
cousin Vinny.
Oh, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Posi Traction.
She's a smoke show though, so bring her up as often as
Yeah.
you like.
Tell me about it, right?
Oh,
Wow, that's an old one though. It says Thomas Organ Company.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I think it's 70s.
My love
Early
of Marissa
70s.
Tomei is legendary. In these parts.
I remember when
Stan
Someone just bought a 60-watt Joyo.
Best.
That car has Posi Traction. Yeah, folks, if you guys haven't been paying attention to what Zim is doing with buying these lockers
I'm
and then
trying to sell
reselling this
shit.
gear.
If you notice,
I know he's selling
Buy and
gear. I'm
sell.
trying to help you, Zim.
you
You're
guys
not
have
paying
noticed I'm
attention.
just trying to sell shit.
Exactly.
Like
Sim
it's
is
your
not
job.
buying these things because he wants a collection. He's looking to turn a profit, folks. Now get on the phone. We've given you lots of entertainment. Mr. Warmth is coming out in a minute. Anissa Jones is here.
Yep.
After fucking around with pedals all day long, I've decided that this one is underrated.
TC Electron. Oh, Chorus. That's a classic one.
This thing's
That-
awesome.
That's my friend
Underrated.
Mike
TC
had
makes
one.
great stuff. They're highly overlooked.
And this one is overrated. Pay
Oh, that thing
attention. Pay
sucks.
attention closely. This is the BF2.
I never liked any flanges.
This one's valuable right now, and it
I
makes
know,
no
it's made in
sense. This one
Japan.
just doesn't sound any good.
No, they're
Well,
awful. I
Ronnie
had that back
Latectro
in
liked those, but he didn't
85.
really use it as a flange.
This one sounds better.
$40.
Dirt cheap. Sounds incredible.
Yeah, I bought a flanger. I think I paid $100. It was that wait, it's a TC Electronic. It's that Vortex flanger.
Vortex? That's great.
Thing's excellent.
Great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Of course.
There was a sound on the Vortex that
I have this
I
one.
always went back to. It was just
DOD.
phenomenal.
Performer.
What
Where
is
it's
that?
got
Ooh,
a
that's an
it's
old
got
one.
a glitch in it, right? Where when you hit the chord, it detunes before it goes into the flange. It sounds warped. But it takes
Extra
two friggin'
warped.
9-volt batteries, and that's the AC connector right there, a 1/4 inch.
Goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Heavy duty.
It's completely unusable.
Right.
Other than that,
I
it's
never
great.
bought that. It was given to me. Someone was cleaning out attic.
Oh, so
I get-
John, what were you saying about the Vortex? There's a sound on it that
Oh yeah, you turn like the rate or the speed of the flange like almost all the way down, and it's phenomenal.
yeah, it's a great
Phenomenal.
pedal. I agree.
There's a I'm gonna get laughed out of the room, but John Petrucci has a solo on the Falling into Infinity record that uses the very same sort of a flange sound, where it's just the flange. It's a flange. It's obvious it's a flange, but there's no speed on it. It's just
Right.
off, and it sounds like a filter. And the Vortex does it in spades. It's excellent. For anybody
Look,
who's
Carl's
curious,
getting in on it.
I will
Are you
post-
sure?
There are
I
so
will-
many
I will
Dream Theater
post
songs
this
now. I've
solo
lost
in
track.
I'll post the
Carl's
solo
throwing in
the
the
chat
fucking my
because
cousin Vinny.
this
Are you
particular solo
sure?
sounds like he's
Positive.
I'm
trying to rip
positive.
off Neil Schon, which is great.
Oh, how good is Neil?
Best.
He's kind of a monster.
Oh, look at that flanger.
Ooh,
It's a sound tank. I've got the Tube Screamer sound tank.
It looks like the Dan Electros that come out now.
80
Getting
bucks.
those that are
$30
functional are
bucks. How
difficult
much is
because
that?
that pedal gets a little squirrely. I mean, it's all plastic, so
Yeah. Plastic.
and they call it a sound tank like it's really rugged, but
Right.
Maybe it's more like a sound tank of gas because it's made out of
Yeah.
plastic.
Exactly.
just buy yourself a Behringer.
So has that deluxe reverb been modded, Jerry?
There's a Tube Screamer.
Uh,
That's it. Unfreezes.
no, it's got like modern looking tubes in it. Well, probably something from like the 90s.
All right.
Like
That's what we
GT
call that
maybe.
modded. Yeah.
No. And what it was the speaker was bad, which
Okay.
I still have, but I had a 68, whatever that fucking number is,
Yeah.
and magically the fucking thing worked. So I was pumped.
And the caps are still good in that thing and everything?
I haven't. You know what, Dave? I haven't. I think I put a 3-prong on it, but and saved the cord.
Right.
That could, you know what? That could have the 2-prong on it. You know, I knew what that thing was. I just kind of made sure it worked and I put it away. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
cool sounding amp, though, man. I know why guys would spend a lot of money on it. You know, I think you can spend half the money and get an amp that sounds probably better these days.
Yeah.
But it's got a nice voice. And if you like a Marshall and you're and you get a Fender, that's a cool one to have. And I played through a 65 Deluxe, no reverb, and to me, it had a different voice. But that could be, I don't know if it truly has a different circuit or not. But
A real 65 with no reverb?
yeah, I don't know if it's the same circuit or not. Sometimes, you know, you would assume yes, but sometimes no.
Well, in the deluxe, I don't know, because in the reverb they always put the AB763 up till 68,
Okay.
and
But
then in
that's got it
68
in
they
64.
modified
I'm
it.
like, I remember dialing the amp up and I'm like, holy fuck, this thing's hot for a Fender amp. I'm like, this thing's like got grind. You know? Yeah. And I had a bunch of Marshalls, man. So I knew what I was hearing. And I'm like, oh, that's the big deal about this amp. To me,
Yeah.
if you want like a chimey Fender amp, it is not the amp for you.
No, I know. That's why I've decided on the Vibreverb. More headroom, cleaner, brighter, everything I like.
It's
And
a
you know, you can put
half-power
like a
twin.
soloist in front of it, the tube screamer knockoff.
Yeah.
That sounds better than and that thing will just scream.
Yeah.
And that's all I need. I really like a glassier tone. I'm not really into like, I mean, even when I used, although I got to take this Marshall, my Marshall 2501, I got to take in.
Do you think it would sound good with a sound tank tube screamer in front of it?
Exactly. No. I generally don't even care for the two.
Let's make a deal,
of course
man.
I would.
Come on,
Folks,
man.
No, I have the soloist and the duelist. I think, yeah, Cheech. I don't really. I started off talking about shit I don't want to talk about in the news, and that's one of them. It's just whether obviously I'm a Jew, so people know how I feel. But other than that, I just don't think like my show. Like to me, that's not entertainment. Like if you want to talk about the news, you may as well just turn this off and go watch the news. What do I'm here to laugh and have a good time. I'm trying to enjoy my life. You know what I mean?
And how's that working out?
It's always working out awesome.
Hey,
Well, celebrity deaths are always accepted.
Have you guys had this?
Go ahead.
You guys talked about that big concert out in India that happened last week, Power Trip. Have you guys had that discussion about that concert?
Well,
the 3-day event out there with AC/DC and Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and Metallica?
No.
Wow.
I didn't even hear about it until like the day after.
But I will say
Here's what that did. Okay. Here's what that concert did.
That
made old people cool. When that happened, the guys in Metallica were out in the front, like in the front row off to the side, watching Judas Priest play and just rocking out to old Judas Priest. When Rob Halford walked on that stage with a big Santa Claus looking beard, completely bald headed, looking 70, however, he walked out there like a bad mofo, had a cane, walked out there big, and people just looked at him like he is a metal god, because he really honestly is. And it made all those bands, I don't Tool, but all those other guys, ACD, on that stage at their age, playing those songs, and just the original bass player from Judas Priest is still in the band.
Him and Halford are the only two original,
and made them badass.
Okay, let me say this about that, just so if you don't mind.
But the other guys are in their 50s and 60s. Okay.
Yeah, Halford made a claim
I got you started.
recently.
That's good. Wanted to get you started.
Halford made a claim recently that Judas Priest is the original heavy metal band. And I just want to say that is true if you live under a fucking rock. When Judas Priest came out and recorded Rock-a-Rolla, number one, that's a rock album. It's not even a heavy metal album. And at that time, Black Sabbath had 5 albums that were melting fucking faces in the heavy metal world. So I don't know what is he talking about, that they're the original heavy metal band? In my opinion, they didn't even really become a metal band till 79. It's not that nobody cares, Cheech. This isn't the place to discuss it. I don't know what else to tell you. Fuck off. I don't want to talk about it here. I don't. What do I have to do? You're going to get offended because people don't want it. They come here to fucking get away from the news and you want to bring it in here?
In the meantime, there's the heartbreak of psoriasis too, but we don't talk about that here either.
What?
It's an old commercial.
The world
Well,
is
you
falling
know, these
apart.
old
Well, if you think
musicians,
so,
they talk
next time
shit,
you have
they
a
talk
vote
themselves
in
up.
Canada, stop voting for these liberal douchebags that put the world at fucking unease. And then you won't have this problem. I figured it out for everybody.
Here's another getting
We got to get
back to the concert though, Dave.
got to get Zim a new internet
You
connection.
made the Black
Yeah.
Sabbath. You're talking Black Sabbath. Ozzy was booked. Ozzy was booked on this, and he couldn't do the show, and that's why Judas Priest got that time slot. But again, there's no. It's not a crime to grow old when you're a heavy metal. It's not a crime to be an old guy. I remember the movie where the kid who was the Rolling Stone, Almost Famous. The dudes in Stillwater were 28 years old in that movie. Oh, dude, I'm already too old. I'm 28 years old. I should have started this band 10 years ago. Back in our day, back in the 70s and the 80s, if you were 28 years old, you were already too old. But nowadays, kids are going to these concerts. They're seeing our old hero 70s and the 80s. And these guys are coming off like badasses. And it's not a crime to be an old guy playing music, which I think is cool because I'm an old guy that plays music.
I think
This
if
has
you- I think
been
if
the
you've sold
Zim Minute.
if you've sold north of 30 million records, and yeah, you
I was
can
just
go-
going to
you
say
can-
thank you, John.
Yeah,
you
the
could
Zim
go, you
Minute.
can go and do that. But if me and Krellbar all of a sudden decided that we were going to come up with a Dio tribute act, we might get 4 guys, and all of them that are in our chat right now. That's who's
Yeah.
going to come. So while I hear you, I think it's conditioned by the fact that these are the most legendary bands in the world.
Right. AC/DC sold the biggest selling rock album of all time. Of all time. Back in Black is the biggest worldwide selling rock and roll album of all time. And you're surprised that people are going to go see them when they're in their 60s and 70s. I'm not surprised. But now, go to it. Let's see if Wishbone Ash plays at that show. Let's see how many people go take a piss when Wishbone Ash gets on stage.
Yeah, a buddy of mine sent me a message the other day. He goes,
Get
"Hey,
this. I went
have
and
a
saw.
free." He goes, "I have a free ticket to go and see Snarky Puppy. Do you want to come out?" And I was like, "If it was Slayer, I'd be there, but no, I don't give a shit." I'm in my 40s, and I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to.
It'd be great if they're playing in my living room.
Yeah.
I've actually said that.
I went and saw Blue Oyster Cult, and Head East was the opening band. I'm like, Head East? Are you kidding? Head East?
Who's Head East?
Yeah, you're there for that one.
Never been any reason. They actually were the first band to do Since You've Been Gone also.
Oh, they were? They were the first?
Yeah. What's the singer's name? John. I can see his face.
I'm never going to get it. Hang on for a second.
Never gonna get it.
He sang for Petra for a while.
Sang for
It is
Petra?
John Schlitt.
Jesus.
John Schlitt. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
And when he left, they called the band.
Don't play music. Is that Zim? Zim, don't. Come on, Zim.
Blue Oyster Cult.
Great.
Yeah.
Blue Oyster
music
Cult.
gets us striked.
That
It's
record After Dark.
70 years
sucks
old
So fucking
and
bad.
just crushing it.
My cat just turned off the TV.
Because Blue Oyster Cult came on.
Aside from the radio hit, I'm probably not going to make any friends here tonight, but that band stinks.
Who?
I hate them.
Come on.
Blue
Blue Oyster Cult?
I just fucking hate them.
Wait, you said
band?
beside their hit. Which hit?
I'm just like, don't hear the
come
reason. Oh yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
know
but they
the
had
song.
what was the
Burning for you.
Godzilla.
Burning for You's a great
Burning for
tune.
You.
Godzilla.
Godzilla's
Like-
fucking monster.
It was.
this
friend
is
of mine,
Burning for
friend of
You.
mine's like, you got to get the record After Dark. It's
Burning for
incredible.
You.
I start listening to After Dark. I'm like, what kind of drugs are you on? And where do I get them? It is.
I think they were like a Long Island band, weren't they?
Oh, what was it? Betty Grable's.
Well, what's that band playing?
Joan Crawford.
Zims?
Joan
Is that
Crawford,
Wandering Old Men? It
Weren't
looks
they
like
from
a bunch
Long
of old men
Island?
wandering on stage.
in New York, guys.
This
I'm not
this
sure.
stage.
Right.
This stage
When they-
is in the round, so the stage slowly circles around
Yeah.
while you sit there.
Yeah.
Now, who
Now, which
is
band do
that?
you think
Probably
was
gives
better,
you emotional sickness to
Zim?
be on this.
Blue Oyster Cult or Kicks? Serious
Oh
question.
man, I love
Not a
Kicks.
serious question.
I knew you
Except
would.
for kids.
I love Kicks.
Ugh.
I've seen Kicks live though,
Silly.
but we used to cover "Don't Close Your Eyes," and that was a hard song to sing. That dude was a genius singer, but they're one of those bands that decide to retire before they fell, before the wall.
I only know that
vocally.
one song.
They've decided to retire, but
close
I've
your
always loved Kicks.
They've decided to
Yeah.
retire before they had
Well, they
to
had
switch
Midnight
over to the
Maniac. They
Grey
had a
Wings.
couple.
No, that was Crocus.
Let me say my joke again because I keep getting not talked over. They retired because they didn't want to switch over to the Grey Wigs.
We all heard it.
Have you guys seen a video on YouTube right now? It's Vince Neil, My Honk.
No.
No.
I will share it. It's the greatest video ever.
You know what's funny though? I heard Livewire yesterday in the gym, and I'm like, this was a great fucking record. That first record of Motley Crue was great. How did they get so
The first
terrible?
album was good. It
How did they
was.
become so bad?
Cocaine,
I love the first album.
alcohol, and cocaine?
Yeah, out of their fucking minds, man.
Oh, like they weren't out of their minds on the first album.
Oh
But
my
the first
god.
album's good.
Oh yeah, it is.
I mean,
my
it's a
favorite
good
one.
album. And they're horrible.
Yeah, they are.
It is.
Piece of your action.
Thin.
They only
By the
had
way,
so
I just
far
want
they
to
could
say
go.
that
They weren't
Nikki
really-
Sixx will be on the show next week.
I was gonna say they couldn't go that far because
Your
they were
albums
only,
suck except for the
like
first one.
adequate at
A
best
little-
musicians, even for rock
He'll
players.
talk
They
to you
weren't
about
great
it.
players.
They were not great
Oh.
players, but it doesn't
Oh.
matter if your
I don't know
music
how-
is
no, I
good.
don't know how far. I don't know how far you can get and stay when you're really not that great. You know.
Well, the Clash made 5 records.
Well, sure. I mean, Green Day is
Bob
still on the top of the
material.
world for what they do, but could you name a song that they've done in the last 10 years?
Or 20?
Right? Yeah. No. I mean, it's
40.
somebody cares about them. It's just not you or me or anybody in this room.
Right. Or anyone heterosexual.
Right.
But
People
Excuse
that-
me.
the first album of Motley Crue is very good. Yes, they're not great players, but I could have done a few more records. If you write great songs, nobody cares how you play.
Is it Too Fast for Love? Is that the first one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good riffs. Good.
I got it.
opening
Yeah, I
line.
was gonna say hand it to Mick Mars. He was a good
Yeah.
riff.
Wasn't Mick Mars like 35 when that album
Yeah, he
dropped?
was.
He
I
still is.
yeah.
He is. I saw something where he's going to drop. Mick Mars is going to drop his first solo song video tomorrow or the next day.
Oh, I'm
So we're gonna
excited. I
get
can't wait.
Some
Wow.
brand new Mick Mars solo stuff.
Just getting good, man.
He was 30 in 1981.
Okay.
And what? Tommy
know-
was 19.
That's what the world needs right
Yeah,
now. I
he's
don't want to
10
get
years older than
political.
the other guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to get political, but with the world going to shit, like Cheeto says, what we need right now,
Cheeto.
what we need right now is a Mick Mars solo song to
Cheeto.
unite us.
Whole
Yes.
album. Yeah.
No,
Hamas was saying right
you
now,
know what?
too,
You know what
that
helps is
Netanyahu,
to
they were
go
saying,
see.
"Listen, all of this could be alleviated if you could only get Mick Mars
see
to
a
drop a
concert.
record."
No, we got to dig up all the old metal singers and stuff and have another Stars reunion there.
We're stars.
We're Stars.
Ah, so
awful.
That's
We're
the best
starved.
song ever.
I
The
got
only
to
thing
sing
I could
that on
imagine
stage
worse than
with,
a
I got to sing that
Mick Mars
live.
record is a Paul Stanley record.
I love
Another
the Paul
one?
Stanley record.
Oh,
At least
was
with
the
a
worst
Paul
Stanley with an
record, you get a
acoustic.
South Park.
That was the
episode
worst
out
of the
it.
4.
Paul at the rehearsal. What is it? The warehouse. The pictures on Facebook today, playing the acoustic.
Yeah, him playing an acoustic,
Oh.
it's like
Can you
What
do
an
a little
operation.
research and find out who was on there as a lead singer? Who's Mick's lead singer right now coming out?
Mick Mars.
I can't.
Can
I
you
can't do
search that?
research. My hands are
Mick
broken.
Mars, who's his lead singer?
Is it Miles
does he have a
Kennedy?
band?
The beautiful thing about I don't know if you heard that joke. It was a good joke, but the
Crowbar's
beautiful
pretty
thing
good,
about a
but-
Paul
I'm
Stanley
looking it up.
record is that you're going to get a South Park episode out of it. That's
Did
what.
you see that Disney
Oh,
is going to
oh.
try to sue South Park?
No, I didn't know.
Good luck for them. Those
Yeah,
idiots.
parody. It's protected.
No, are they
Yeah,
suing
they're-
about the whole
you
Mickey
can't-
Mouse thing? Is that what it is?
Mickey Mouse, well, not just that, but the whole anti-woke thing.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy.
the
And I'll tell you the reason why this country is
episode
in
is
the disarray that it is and why people are woke, because they're not getting enough beef and fat in their blood.
you might be right.
I am 100% right.
Yep.
You know, have you guys seen the YouTube channel? It's this classical guitar player guy, Baker, whatever his name is. I can't think of his name.
Robert Baker?
No.
No, classical guitar channel.
Yeah.
What are you doing watching that?
It comes up in my feed, and I had to tell YouTube, stop showing me this guy because he talks like he's gonna have a cup of tea. His channel should be called "A Classical Guitarist for the Beta Male." You know what I mean? It's like, let's pause and have a cup of tea before I show you how to play
It's Bob Ross
Jim-
for
Jim
classical
Nutt.
guitar.
Oh, it's like it's
Yeah,
painful.
we'll put a happy
That was
little
funny.
arpeggio.
Wow. That was funny.
And he's on with the guy. He did a video with the guy who's the samurai guitar player, who I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Oh, I know who it is. I don't
I
know,
know
his
who
name.
it
I know
is.
who he is.
So yeah, and it's just like I'm like, oh, I mean, he's a good player, and classical guitar is nice, but when he talks, it's just like now, folks. You look, people could sit there all they want and say stereotypes are mean, stereotypes aren't true. Fuck you, bullshit. It
Stereotypes.
is true. You go look up any pipe smoking video where guys are smoking pipes. They have the hat, the full beard. They look like retired fishermen. It is the most cliche. It does 9 different guys. They all have mutton chops. 9 different guys show up in my feed. Every fucking one of them looks like their twin. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Commander McBragg.
They're firing.
Did I ever tell you the time? It's unreal. It is.
Yes.
I'm like this. I'm like, do these guys realize they are the fucking stereotype? And that's when the realization hit me when the classical guy came on and he's like, you know, this song is really.
Yeah.
It's like Michael Jackson putting on the fake voice.
Ugh.
Oh,
Could you
hey,
imagine
kid.
shaking his hand? How damp and loose it
Oh,
would
yeah.
be.
A damp, wet noodle.
Oh,
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
I've shaken, and I feel guilty when I shake hands like that.
Dave,
but
there's a question in the chat for.
What is that?
There's a question in the chat for you from BSTD.
Gearing up
Wait
to
a
record
minute,
my
their
first
name is
album. So any
LBSTD.
advice
He's
my
gearing
first
up
working
to
with an
record
engineer?
his first
I asked earlier but got buried. Oh, I would say go in with an open mind. Don't be nervous. Don't get nervous. And just do your best. Lay it down. You know what
Play
they
good.
say before you go in the studio, don't practice till you get it right. Practice till you can't get it wrong. And you'll be comfortable. You know, just go in prepared, know what you're going to do, but also be open because some things are going to come at you where somebody might have an idea that works and you got to be open to the fact that maybe it does work. Maybe what you had in your mind could be improved and maybe not, but it's just something to to do when I mean, there's many times where I'm in the studio and someone will say, you know, we should probably play this out 8 more bars, or we should try this or try that. And you know, where you have a certain thing in your mind, not because it doesn't have that, you try it anyway. And then you listen back and you go, I mean, just to tell you, like I watched the video on John Lennon. It was about the song "I Want You, She's So Heavy," and towards the end of the song, he tells Jeff Emmerich to cut the tape at a certain spot. Jeff Emmerich goes, "What?" He goes, "Just cut the tape." And Jeff Emmerich was like, didn't want to do it, but he did it because Lennon's the boss. And he said when the record came out and he heard it, he was like, "Man, that was such a brilliant move." Like he's like, he was totally right and I was wrong, but he did it, you know, because. EOP Live, lots of great musicians performing. All right, that's something to look forward. Fern's talking about Fernwood Tonight is talking about.
I was just gonna think of that. Fernwood Tonight.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say that.
but anyways, so I started a channel, I think I told you last week, called The Chairman. I'm going to be doing a new video on that. I'm also going to be doing a live, I think, with Emily soon. We're going to do a live just talking about the carnivore diet, how we look at it, what we eat. Yeah, it's a new, what's that is right. And yeah, so she's done a couple of videos on it now. And no, that is a buddy of mine's, Les Paul. The same guy who owns the other Les Paul, I sold for him. And so he's like, dropped this one off. And he was like, hey, see if anybody's interested in this one. What's cool about the P90s in that is he swapped them out for the staple P90s. And I always dig the staple P90s. But anyway, so if you can, check out my channel called The Chairman.
And that's the chairman, not the chairman. If you look that up, you'll get a totally different.
The Charmin.
Oh, the
Have
Charmin.
you guys watched The Deal?
No shit.
I think he's called The Deal Guy.
No.
He talks about like sales at Costco and Sam's. Oh, he's the best. He talks about like, he's great.
Yeah, what you should be buying at Costco this month.
Yeah, you've seen him?
What you should be buying at Costco this month.
Right. When he he gets the muffins and you see him, he's eating them out of the back of his trunk.
I think I saw what he said about steak. Buy it in bulk because the steaks that are cut.
That's a different guy.
Okay, yeah. But anyway,
that's the butcher.
That are cut, they tenderize with these metal things, and it's just taking all the bacteria on the outside and pushing in the steak. So
Fernwood, yes, he does Aldi too. He goes, these are the things to buy at Aldi this week.
Oh,
number 5, and he holds up his hand like this all the time. Number 3, he like barely puts any effort into his hand movements. He's fucking hilarious.
Maybe he's a classical guitar player.
Well, he doesn't. It doesn't start with a cup of hot tea. You want some Darjeeling tea or maybe some chamomile? This is the classical.
I love Costco.
Guitar.
You should have seen my shopping cart. You did see my shopping cart the other day. Oh, I just went there and spent $230 on meat
there last week.
I've never heard of Kenji Suzuki.
I've never been in a Costco.
Oh, the best.
Yeah. My brother has.
I go every week. I'm getting eggs, heavy cream, bacon, Romano cheese, and Romano cheese.
Are you doing the thick cut bacon from Costco, the Kirkland one?
So I do the thick cut maybe every third or fourth time I get the regular cut.
Okay.
I just do it to break it up. But so what I like to do, folks, when I eat bacon is I dip it in a large tub of Daisy sour cream that I also get at Costco. And if you've never had bacon dipped in sour cream, folks do not know what you're missing.
I haven't.
Unaware
I
of
can
that
tell you it
combination.
works.
I've never done it.
Oh, it's fantastic, John.
I have my latest fat guy trick that I'm loving to death is I take the salami because they've got this salami that's really good. And I take like 3 or 4 pieces and basically put a big dab of cream cheese in the middle of it and fold it over like it's a taco. So it's like a salami and cream cheese fat bomb.
Love it.
It's great.
Love it.
And
it is.
Hey, guys.
Zim's out.
Thanks for having me on. I got to go.
Anytime, man.
Dinner
See you later,
time.
dial up, Dane.
Bye, guys. Thank
See you
you.
later.
If anybody's still
Okay.
questioning the diet
Bye.
in the chat,
Later.
I'm down 21 pounds right now doing this diet, and I don't see it slowing down. It was slowing down for about a week, and when I figured out I wasn't ingesting enough fat, I talked to Dave, talked to Richard. They were like, add more fat. I did that,
Still
and then the
trying to
weight
leave.
started dropping again quickly. And so, yeah, I dropped like 7 pounds. Some of that was water weight because I was stuck at that same weight for a solid week and a half or so. So I'm sure that's what it was. But man, everything just started falling off as soon as I added the fat back.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, I'm at like 21 pounds right now.
that's awesome.
Fully
Congratulations.
anticipate being at 25 and 30, in weeks, So I got a long way to go. I'm a fat fuck. But I
Yeah,
got a long way
you'll
to
do
go.
it. Like I said, I have a buddy of mine in New Hampshire. He started a little lighter than you, but he dropped 75 pounds in 5 months and still losing.
Yeah.
Carl Peace is saying you got to get bacon from a smokehouse in Tennessee. He buys 16 pounds at a time.
Yep. And it's gone in a week.
So, but yeah, I mean, no, the diet works. The whole thing works. It's really just a question of understanding metabolism and how, there's like some guy I watched and it's like a doctor, but he's all jacked. I mean, you can tell the guy takes tests and he's like talking about how like people think it's not calorie in, but let me tell you why it is. And he goes into the whole thing about how digestion works and everything. And he's full of shit because if you say to me that calorie in, calorie out is what works, then I would say, let's take two identical twins. I'll put one of them on 2,000 calories of Krispy Kreme donuts only, and the other one on steak, butter, and eggs. And let's see what happens to their bodies.
Right.
Because
For
I
sure.
know what's going to happen. 2,000 calories a day of Krispy Kreme, you're going to be a fat fuck. 2,000 calories of steak, eggs, and butter, you're going to get shredded. So it can't be calories. So on that alone, it already shows that the argument for calories is flawed.
Yeah, it's hormones.
It's hormones. Exactly right. Yeah.
I can't remember who I was watching. I was watching somebody. Might have been Mark Bell, actually. I watch Mark Bell's channel every once in a while. Mark Smelly Bell.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, Smelly.
Yeah, that's your boy,
It's great.
right? That's
Yeah.
who you did that
Love
song for, right? Isn't he the one that made the
For Chris.
Oh,
his brother.
It's his brother, right?
Yeah, it's Chris.
Yeah, but Mark Bell's channel's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I remember Mark when he moved to LA.
Some of these guys,
Yeah,
though,
I mean,
like,
the
what I don't need from these carnivore channels is I don't need somebody giving me a recipe for a carnivore meal that consists of a piece of meat, salt, and water. Like, you don't need to give me a recipe. I got it.
Is that hilarious?
This is
I
how to
love that.
braise meat.
Right.
No shit.
It's like, come on.
Fucking gold. It really is. But it's serious though, like, because I mean, so many people are so like, forget about just overweight, but you can see it in their face that they have like insulin resistance and and they all just want to take you down. Oh, don't you want to enjoy your life? I'm enjoying my fucking life. Let me tell you, I'm enjoying it. Just because I'm not shoving fucking cookies and cake down my throat, I don't want to feel like that. There was a guy who posted a video and he's like, someone said to me, he had a birthday steak. And he said, somebody's like, how come you don't have a birthday cake? You need to enjoy yourself. He's like, I'm enjoying myself with steak. You're a fucking idiot. That shit's poison. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to enjoy yourself to eat poison. Really?
Birthday
All right.
steak.
Oh, I gave my wife a hill of shit 2 days ago because my son decided, I'm going to see what it's like to be on your diet. I want to know what it's like. So I was like, fine. So the whole day he was just doing meat and cheese and fats. And by the end of the day, he was dying for carbs. Right.
Right.
And my wife's like, this isn't healthy. He shouldn't be doing this. And I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? Because she is constantly bringing home the junk food.
Right.
And she's like, he needs to have vegetables. And I'm like, that's not the point. And forget
is
the
it true?
vegetable thing. It's like you're saying, oh, well, now he needs vegetables. But if he was eating all this other crap you always bring home, you wouldn't be saying, oh, you also need to be eating vegetables. You know what I mean? And it's just like, God damn it. This is what I'm up against. Makes it
but
real
vegetables are, I don't want. I don't, anything that comes from the ground except for coffee and cigars, I want no part of.
I'm putting lemon in my water. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, I use lemon in water too.
That comes from the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
So lemons.
I put
let me
fresh
see.
ginger in mine too.
Lemons.
Ginger kid?
And black pepper. I use black pepper. And white pepper, which is the same pepper.
Is black and white pepper
and
the
Dr.
same?
Pepper.
Yeah. One is it's just how when it comes off the plant, if it's overripe or underripe or something.
I noticed
I
a lot
find
of
the white
a lot
pepper
of
to be a little
Asian cooking
sharper.
uses white pepper instead of black pepper. I'm not
I love
sure
white
why.
pepper. I use it in my chicken. It's awesome.
I need some
Kids are
MSG.
way overweight today.
You ever have MSG?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I have a
I
jar
need
of
some
it
of
at
that.
home.
But
What's
you ever
that?
You ever put it on your steak?
Well, I don't use it anymore just because I'm just using salt. It's like a fake salt. So
Well, you put it
but-
on after you slice it.
It's
After you
made
slice
from
it, put it on
it's
the
made from
inside meat.
seaweed.
Yeah.
Umami.
There's a guy who has
Uncle
a
Roger.
channel where all he does is steaks, and he like compares cheap cuts to expensive cuts and has like high-end chefs preparing it and all that stuff. And he did one where he put MSG on steak.
Oh yeah, you're talking about Guga Foods.
I think so, yeah.
I love Guga.
Yeah. It was a good response.
He's
Ryan
great.
from the Midwest,
yeah.
we did discuss John Cruz last week or 2 weeks
We
ago,
did,
whenever
yeah.
I was on last.
Now we got to get Ryan into the carnivore.
I know. Tell me about it.
Although for some reason I
Hard to
think
get Ryan into it because he likes
might
sparring,
already be
and therefore
doing
he
it.
has
I
bad
feel
taste.
like he's the kind of guy that would do it behind our backs and then come like a month later and be like, "Oh, I've lost 50 pounds."
Who, Ryan?
Sound familiar, Jerry?
It was 10. Stop it. 2 weeks.
Oh.
It worked.
No, I know. But I'm saying there are other people that too that'll do it and not tell you they're doing it until they do it. John Cruz was a master builder for Fender, and then he got fired. He basically said anyone that buys a Strat's a fag, and they fired him. No, that's not why they fired
That's
him.
It's not what he said. He said something about running over black people, I think.
Oh, really?
That was the crux of his messaging, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
You didn't know that? Oh
No.
yeah, that's what happened with him. It was that
Yeah,
he
he
released a cartoon in the middle of all of the COVID lockdown riots and everything, basically saying, "Oh, I got to work just fine," and it was like a picture of a Jeep with blood all over it, insinuating he was running over the protesters. And
Right.
you can't just say protesters without corporate people being like, "Wow, he must be talking about blacks."
Right.
It's absurdity. But yeah, that's why he got canned.
Wow. Did not know that.
Speaking of that, your boy Ron Thorne is in the middle of deep shit.
Why?
The old sexual harassment case.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, Ron Thorne's out at Fender.
On another male?
No, believe it or not.
I don't.
I know, right?
Wait, am I wrong? Ron Thorne he's straight?
That's what they're saying.
He's hitting on women. What?
I find that. Oh, please, he should take that to
impossible
court.
as
There
well,
isn't a fucking jury out in the world that's going to think that dude's straight.
Thank God this show has no following because
Right,
I was
exactly.
going to say I could get in trouble for that because I don't know if it's public knowledge or not.
This is
But
going to go
It's
viral.
fucking true. It's out there.
2 million views.
Ron Thorne be gone. Anyway.
Wow. Now, Ron Thorne, for the longest time, was manufacturing guitars out of his own place. And when I say manufacturing, I mean with the help of one GJ down in Irvine.
Right. It's all of these fucking guys.
Exactly. What are they doing now that Grover moved?
I couldn't tell you. John Cruz was supposed to be doing his guitar line with Grover, and that whole thing didn't work.
Right.
I don't know that they weren't getting along or whatever it was, but it didn't work. Ron
Yeah.
Thorne SoCal RS. It's literally a Stratocaster, $5,000. Fuck off.
And does it have all the ornate stuff in the neck? Because that was his big thing. His was the inlay work.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's just dots, but there's a stupid 12th fret marker.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you ever see what's that Martin guitar, the D100?
Oh yeah, that's got crazy ornateness all the way up and down.
It's $100,000 acoustic guitar because somebody took a dump with inlays on the neck.
Yeah.
It's like, who the hell north of Sanya Sidre thinks this is a good-looking guitar? Let me say that again, folks, for those that don't have a map. Who the hell north of Sanya Sidre, which is the last town in San Diego before you get to Mexico, who north of that thinks that's a good-looking guitar?
National City is also a border town. I thought you would maybe go with that one.
Yeah, because if you take the 5 straight down, you get right into Sanya's. You have to go through Sanya Sidre. Let me just say, I don't know why nobody in the chat is getting that joke. That is comedy gold, and it's like
I don't
the
get.
dude from Jet Boy is doing the guitars for Friedman. The dude does kits for Rock Roll Relics. He's actually crafting guitars. Is he actually crafting guitars for Friedman?
What's the question? Yeah, I know all of this.
The dude from Jet Boy?
Yeah. Jet Boy. Oh, you're talking about Billy Rowe. Was Jet Boy Billy's band years ago? Hanoi Bomb?
I remember.
He's in what the hell's the name of the band? He took over Keith Buckley's spot in what's the band? I love the cocaine. I love the cocaine.
Oh, Buck Cherry.
Yeah, that's it. Buck Cherry.
Oh, Keith.
He's in Buck Cherry.
What's Keith's last name?
Wasn't it Keith Buckley? Was it not?
No.
Oh.
No, it's Keith. What the hell is his
Nelson.
name? Keith Nelson. Thank
that's
you.
right. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So
I said
Billy makes all of the Friedman guitars. What does he say? He does kits for Rock and Roll Relics. Okay, so the extent of the work that those guys are doing is he is doing the design work, and he's doing everything other than CNC work. The Friedman stuff, he's not doing the fret work either. So the Friedman stuff, the necks and the bodies are coming from a CNC shop with the frets installed. He does the dress work on the frets and he does the paint. And that's all he does for Friedman. The Rock and Roll Relic stuff, he does more. So there you go. And Billy's also a very nice guy. And he's wised up recently. He was vegan for years. And now he's not vegan anymore. Good for him.
Oh, good.
I actually like Billy a lot. He's a super, super cool guy. Very down to earth. Nice dude.
Well, so is Thorne gone back to making his own stuff? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what he's doing now. I think this news just kind of dropped within weeks. So
there's actually women that work at Fender? Oh, it must be a pickup winder.
Good Lord. Yeah. That's a great joke.
Thank you. I swear, John, look, the chat is fucking dead. I'm laying comedy gold up here, and I'm getting nothing.
Hey, look, Ryan from the Midwest is in the chat right now.
The only girl that he's hitting on is the only girls there is whining pickups.
I thought it was a good joke. I laughed.
Fucking hell.
Oh, my God. Do you think
Grover still making guitars? Ricky, we told you he retired and he moved back to I think Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's in the Nashville area.
Yeah,
suburb.
I always thought he was Chattanooga.
I think he said he grew. Yeah, he told me before he grew up somewhere else, but he moved to Nashville to be closer to the. He's still building.
Oh, Ryan says Thorne's back to his old company. Oh, wait, Grover's still building?
Yeah, he's building OG guitars, original Grover. Yeah, you can find them online and stuff.
Wow.
So Grover is one of these guys that's going to die making guitars.
Mm.
I know that his daughter's been harassing him to retire because he's not in great health. He even had a diabetic episode like a year and a half ago, lost half of his foot.
Wow.
Oh, dude, he's a mess.
He needs to go
Yeah,
on carnival.
But he's never gonna stop working. He is just that he's built that way.
Yeah.
More power to him.
Yeah.
That's what makes him happy.
Why do we need Bingham to buy a Novo for hipster cred? I already bought a Fano. Isn't that close enough? This is from Hanoi Bomb.
Yeah, no, I see it. I just don't understand what is a Novo's, one of those kind of. Oh, it must be like a.
Dennis Fano sold Fano, and then started another guitar company called Novo. So it's just Dennis Fano's designs.
Got it. And then
you
Hugh was
often
saying
see
new
them on
pickup line or
channels
joint
like Rhett
fender. She's
Scholes.
called. What is it?
You often see them on like Rhett Scholl type channels.
Oh Christ, the hipster doofus. Everything's great. You know what? They
the
should
one
have.
pedal that you're never gonna believe.
Do you ever see the black girl that does the cooking things where she goes, "Everyone's so creative,"
No.
and she's like, "Oh, she's like superimposed over a cooking video, and she's screaming at him, don't put that." Oh, she goes, "If it won't go down easy if it ain't cheesy." She's always ripping on every recipe. She's funny as hell. But she should be doing the Rhett Skulls videos where she's like, everybody's so creative, because he's just a fanboy of everyone that like wants to send him free shit. I take it, because anytime I've seen him, he only has good things to say.
Rhett Schill.
Yeah, it's definitely like a paid promotion sort of a channel.
Yeah, Ricky, I do like that.
I like the videos that have, like, I saw one from Fluff the other day, and he said, "Now this is a paid promotional video, because they did send me this pedal, but I just want you to know all words and opinions are mine." And it's like, no, they're not.
Right.
You were
they're your opinions with a free item.
The item, and you were sent their marketing blurb. And then you built this video and sent it back to them as the manufacturer and said, "Is this good?" And they said, "Yeah, it's great. Thank you." And that's how that went down.
Yeah.
All the words are mine. Yeah, they were yours, but they were also approved.
Right.
Any folks that want to know how this industry works, give me a buzz.
Yeah. And not only that, it's like, and anyone that wants to argue about it, it's like if you're already using the product because you bought it with your hard-earned money and they approach you and you say, "Listen, I'm just going to do a review on it anyway. I bought it." That's different. The second somebody gives you something and now you're going to review it, you didn't have to work hard for it. You're nothing out of pocket. So you don't even look at it with the same eyes. Because you're not sitting there thinking to yourself, "I'll never use this fucking thing. How am I going to sell it? I just paid $200 for this pedal. I'll get $150 back." You know what I mean? They don't have that thought. They're like, "This is a free pedal and it's fabulous.
I don't know,
It's
man.
shiny and new."
Looking at a pile of pedals in front of me that I paid my hard-earned money for, and I never use them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why did I buy this?
Yeah, I mean, I have people, because I have like 24,000 subs, and I'll probably hit 25 by the end of the year, the way my thing's going. And I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. It's my lesson videos. It surely isn't this piece of shit entertainment. But anyways, I get hit up all the time in my emails, people asking me, do you want me to send you this acoustic guitar and you can review it? And I'm always like, no, I have zero interest in it. I don't review products. The only time I ever took anything was a guy said to me, "Do you want this humidor?" And I said, "Can I be honest about it?" He said, "Yeah." So I was. It's great. I fucking love it. It's free.
Even better.
Even better. But I'll tell you, I don't give a fuck, but I use it. And it's something I use every day. Am I going to use some fucking shitbag pedal? Or I had Fafine reach out to me and offer me microphones. I said, "I love your mics. I already use them. I don't need it. Don't send it. I don't send it. I'm not going to do a video on it. I don't care. I already use it. I already have one. I could have taken the free one and done a thing. But I don't care. I just don't give a shit. You know. But there are a lot, and I don't mind if somebody was given something. Like, let's say if I'm doing a cigar video and some company or some person sent me out the cigar, I'll say someone sent it to me, but I'll tell you if I like it or not, because I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't care. The thing with gear is most stuff, if you play good and you're looking for a flanger, you could there's probably 30 or 40 flanges that'll do the job. So what's somebody going to send you one? What are you going to say? This is good? Yeah, it's good. It's great. Is it the best thing out there? No. Is there better for cheaper? Probably. But those they just lie by omission.
There's some guys that are so good. Like I'll say every time there's a new product out there and there's a Pete Thorne video as one of the options along with every other video, I'll generally watch Pete's, because Pete's never like, oh yeah, I just got this. It's amazing. I'm going to put it in my rig. No, he just puts it through its paces. He does a good job of putting it through its paces. And then he tells you about it. And it's almost less of a review and more of a demonstration, if that makes any sense.
Here's my problem with Pete Thorne. And again, he's a good player. But you ever sit down with somebody on an acoustic guitar, John, and someone's like, let me feel what this acoustic guitar is like. And maybe you're trying to sell them your acoustic, and they play it for a second, and then they look at you and they go, you want to hear an original? Fuck no. But no one ever says no. Everyone's always like, sure. In that weird, uncomfortable space of now I have to hear your fucking rotten song. That's how I feel every time I watch a Pete Thorne video. I have to watch him put through the paces.
The demo song?
Whatever demo song he's composing for the video, I have to suffer through. I can't take it.
I got no problem with the demo video.
Oh, it's like a kick in my groin. I'm like, oh, I see.
Well, he's not.
You wrote a shitbag little fucking 645 song, and I'm supposed to be impressed. Just show me the fucking pedal, hit a chord, play a few notes, and move on. I feel like I'm sitting in front of the guy that's like, let me play you one of my original songs. Oh, yeah. And he's like, the government, the world, my girl, everything you don't want to fucking hear about from this shitbag is,
you know,
right?
I think Henning Pauly has some interesting demo songs when he demos stuff.
Henning Pauly.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about Doug Henning?
Doug Henning.
It's magical.
No, I like.
I
never watch his channel, but I like him personally. He's a very nice.
Yeah.
Seems like a nice guy, but I hate watching gear shit. I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like 5,000 guys are going to talk about
the same whatever. That's what really sucks about it, is something new comes out and every friggin' channel is friggin'.
It's the new guitar magazine. Nowadays there's only 3 or 4 publications left, so now they just do it on YouTube.
Right.
This is the avenue of distributing that information.
Right.
You don't have to watch every one.
And people don't even realize this has been going on forever. Like all those guitar magazine, those reviews were basically who's advertising in your magazine.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so absurd.
I think the Fender Tone Master Pro that came out 2 weeks ago, that one is wearing on me. I have no interest in buying the product. I find the product to be flat and boring, and I can't get away from it.
Yeah.
Because Fender went really wide with how much their marketing budget for distributing these units was crazy. It must have gone to 100 YouTubers. And not only that, there's Facebook ads, there's Instagram ads. They spent massive amounts in distributing this stupid thing.
And it's not even complete yet.
The worst part
firmware
about it is somebody put it really well in one of these videos. It's maybe the last of the current generation of modelers. It doesn't do anything new. And they were like, Fender's hitching a ride on this wagon that's been out there for 10 years.
And the thing is,
couldn't agree anymore.
Is that they may be able to make some more money if they could have came in at a slightly lower price point. It's like
is it as good as that 11? rack unit that Zim just held up? Probably not.
I think
but
it's
there's
probably,
no
it's probably
touchscreen.
better.
I don't know.
I'm certain.
Yeah.
The new IR technology is pretty good for all the stuff that guys like to record. Nothing feels like an amp in a room, though.
Yeah, hurry up and record stuff no one's going to hear.
Whoever figures out a cabinet in the room through a PA, those are the guys that are going to make $1 million.
Yeah.
Well, they'll make more than $1 million, but because like you go to a rehearsal space and you try and run a modeler through a PA with the rest of a band, unless you're playing quiet, it doesn't work because it doesn't feel right. Whoever makes that feel right is going to be the winner. I don't know. I'm so tired of all this stuff.
I'm more tired of the clickbait. Is this the end of tube amps? That's what I'm sick of. Yep, it's the end. Sell your gear and fuck off, and shut your channel down.
That's
and
right.
fuck off.
Right.
It's the clickbait bullshit. Is this the end of? Is this the end of this? CD's making a comeback? Whatever the fucking, like, somebody reads an article, they throw the clickbait up there, and it just sucks. The video sucks. I mean, even videos I want to watch now, I'm like, this is fucking clickbait.
Let's
John brought up the point that, this is probably the end of this generation of modelers with the Tone Master. The upside I see in it, seeing that they were the last ones on board stuff. I mean, it's a $1,600.99 price point. I'm thinking, like, a couple of years from now, you're going to be buying those for $200.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
It's like,
that's why I brought up the 11. It's going to be the same thing.
I might buy one then just to fuck around with.
To do what?
Tone Master?
Just fuck around with it for $200 if it gets done.
I don't like some of the stuff that I don't like about this sort of a thing is how it's marketed. And Dave and I have talked extensively about, I don't like when there's an automatic comparison to a real tube amp, because you're chasing a battle that you can't win in terms of like winning over the old grumpy types like myself. They are good enough to use and they're great. I mean, Line 6 for years has been giggable. I got no problem with that, but I've
gigged many times with modeling.
Right, but I've always hated the marketing where they're chasing.
Yeah,
it's not a tube amp. It's the real thing, because then every generation, there was Pod, then Pod Pro, then Pod 2, and this and that. Every time they're like, oh, now we got it right. It's like,
Yeah, and the issue is really not even on the listening end, because on the listening end, people don't know dick anyways. People can play on stage with a really nice solid state amp. They could play on stage with a really nice modeling amp. But when you're playing it, and that's who they're marketing towards. They're not marketing to the listener. They're marketing to the player. And they're like, this is just as good as a tube. Well, it doesn't feel like a tube. The breakup's not there as a tube. Now, the audience isn't going to know that because they don't know dick anyways. They don't know if I'm picking harder and expecting to hear a different articulation or the way an amp sags. So they don't know. But even at the end of the day, it's not a tube amp. Just sell it at what it is. A modeling amp. You'll fool the audience. You're able to play gigs with a light rig. Fuck off.
Yeah,
that's it.
Hey, before this
totally
gets lost in chat, Hanoi Bomb says, Krell, buy a Hotone, save $1,000.
Right.
Well, there was a little more. I saved more than $1,000. I bought one, the Valton GP 200.
Yeah,
I've been dicking around with that. It's actually fun. It's pretty good for like, under $300.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, Hanoi Bomb. I got one.
The second half, I was going to bring up 2 points. The first point was what I already mentioned. The second point is I also don't like how everybody has a what do you call it? They have their own proprietary modeling software systems. Well, we using our software systems is different from everybody else's. We've somehow ended up landing at the same exact spot that everybody else does. That I find frustrating, because you listen to a Quad Cortex or a Helix or whatever, and the Bassman model sounds like a representation of a Bassman through all of them. And you could listen to each one of them and be like, yeah, I get it. Sounds like, yeah, that works. None of them you're ever like, oh, yeah, that doesn't really sound like a Bassman, but that one does. Boy, their proprietary system got it right. And it's just like, how is it really proprietary, or is the only thing proprietary the VST engineer that you hired versus the VST engineer that they hired. It's the same guy, probably using the same VST or DSP software, and that's the only difference. I hate to be so shitty about it, but I think it's right.
Like I say, most people can't tell the difference. I mean, when I make my videos and played solos, people would message me, "What, you got to tell me what that rig is." I'm like, "It's a fucking $100 Fender Mustang modeling amp. It's a piece of shit."
Right.
But I dial it in to sound as close as possible. And when you're making a recording of something, it's in the mix. You're not hearing what I'm hearing. In fact, most of the time I play it, I'm not even listening to myself through the amplified sound. I'm hearing it more acoustically, and then I go listen. I'm like, all right, that's good. But you know, people are fucking crazy when it comes to the marketing of it all is just fucked up. It's just fucked up.
I mean,
The other thing I can't stand is every amp or every pedal on YouTube is they show you what the thing sounds like in a heavy metal setting. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Anything can do high gain. Can you show me where this thing sounds good?
Yeah.
Show me it sound good. But even when they go to the heavy metal, it's like, well, that's too much fucking gain. It sounds like shit. Can you show me how the amps, show me it sound good? There was a guy, I don't know if he's I think he's English, but he does a video where he compares the Tone Master Deluxe Reverb to a 65 reissued Deluxe Reverb to a custom hand-built Deluxe Reverb. And he shows all three, compares them, and all. He puts it through he plays into a looper, so all three are getting the exact everything. And you can hear the difference. You can hear the difference. I mean, would you be able to hear the difference if you just played one without hearing the other two? No. But when you hear all three, you could probably tell the difference of three handmade next to each other. They're all going to sound a little different.
Well, there's interesting things that happen to your psyche and your ears. They're in the process of amplifier testing. And I can tell you right now, you could be the biggest fan in the world of a greenback. Let's just take, for example, you go and you start demoing an amp with a greenback, and you demo that amp with a greenback for 30 seconds. And then you switch over to a vintage 30 and you're like, this sounds terrible. What happened? Then you play that vintage 30 for about 30 seconds. You flip it back to the greenback and you're like, this is terrible. How did I like this in the first place? Because your ears and your brain adapt to the voicing of that sound. And when you think of speakers as a filter that either go or you get used to that in your head and it becomes okay.
Right.
And the moment you change it, you're like, I don't like that. And we do that all the time at Bad Cat, where I'm like, let's do the speaker test. And we've got this cool little remote switcher thing where we can set up 4 cabs and we can just button, and it like changes them all, at the same time. And the only way it ever works is if we give them about 5 seconds each. Because if you do any longer than that, you just adapt to it. And you're like, that's my thing. And it's great. So like all these people that get this idea in their head and they're like, oh yeah, but I played one before that sounded way different from this. It's like, dude, you have no idea until they're next to each other. You have no idea. You can't remember what it sounded like a week ago.
100%. That's why I said if you took any one of these Deluxe Reverbs on its own, you would be like, yeah, it sounds like a Deluxe Reverb.
100%.
The three of them next to each other, yeah, you can hear the nuances. Did the handmade one sound the best? It actually did. And did the Tone Master one sound the worst? I believe so. I thought it did. But if someone said to me, here's the Tone Master one into this mix, and they did it, I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference.
Right.
And, I mean, when it comes to people talking about speakers, I got to be the first one to tell you, I wouldn't know the difference between whatever the hell I bought when it came with it. That's what sounds good. When I bought my Hot Rod Deluxe that came with the Celestion, it sounds better than whatever the shitty speaker they had in the original. Just a little bit better.
It has the Eminence in there originally, right? And they
yeah. So the Celestion sounds better. Yeah. The Vintage 30. To me, it sounded better, which is why I wanted to buy it. the Jensen, which is probably a better speaker, I didn't think sounded better. So I mean, I don't know. I only, you know what I mean? It's like, and it's not like I'm going to say the Vintage 30 is the greatest speaker. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you what the hell's in my rectifier speakers. Whatever's in them, they sound great.
Vintage 30 is a different, totally different Vintage 30. That's the funny thing about all of this crap.
It's made for Mesa.
Yeah, it's darker.
Oh, those are the ones made in England?
Yeah, and they're definitely darker. Even the British made ones that they made for Marshall don't sound like the Mesa ones. It's so funny. Like, it's like, why do they have the same name? Just confuses
Then they have
everybody.
the Chinese ones.
Yeah. But no, I mean, yeah, there are certainly bad speakers, don't get me wrong, but greenbacks are not bad speakers. You know, you listen to it, but you listen to it side by side with other speakers that are also good, and it's just funny how you can just kind of like tie to one.
Fernwood, I think Steve Moss was using Framus, wasn't he, for a while?
That was me,
Or-
John.
Steve Moss went to for amps. I can't remember. Was it Framus? No, Engels. He went to Engels.
Laura
did?
Ingalls?
Oh, Laura
Who did?
Engels Wilder.
Who went to Engel?
Steve Moss years ago.
Who's that?
Steve Moss from Deep Purple
Shump.
and Dixie Dregs. And
He said,
I thought before the show about trying to get a Shump out there. I haven't done one in a while.
Shump.
oh, God.
This is
That's
this is an old one.
He doesn't even know what the shump is.
No,
Yeah.
nobody does.
But that wasn't a shump, by the way.
It wasn't.
No.
Close enough.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Here's Ryan.
Ryan, all the way from the Midwest.
There he is.
John.
There he is. He's got the proverbial white T-shirt.
Yes, we are not the same person. We're actually on at the same time.
Was there debate on this?
Is that the
No, it's just that we used to be on all the time, but for like, a couple of years now, it's like when he's on, I'm not on.
So I've got to ask, because I haven't talked to Ryan. Hello, Ryan, by the way.
Hey, John.
It's been such a period of time since we've actually talked. I have to ask, what number Car Mercury 5 are you on at this point in time? It's got to be in the teens.
It's 4 or 5.
It's 4 or 5, and I'm not sure that I even know, but it's the same one that I had the last time.
Okay.
It's the 52nd one ever produced.
So this you're not allowed to get rid of because Kelly got it for you.
She didn't get it for me. She just said I can't get rid of it and then buy it again.
Gotcha.
So, and I think I'm willing to deal with that.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, that's good. Now, have you got? Are you looking at any guitars right now? And by that I mean I know you hang them right in front of you there. Are there any in front of you that I haven't seen yet?
There are not. No.
All right, excellent. We're making progress.
I do remember Ryan saying that he's like been out of interest, out of love with music lately.
Yeah. I don't play near like I used to. I don't know what got. I mean, I've had this happen before, but this time it's lasted longer. Like, I'm not into any new music that's coming out.
I'm
Well, that
just
shows
starting
you
to
have
get back
taste.
into it.
And all the old stuff. I probably just need to dig deeper, but you put on. I'm so tired of hearing AC/DC and Aerosmith and Def Leppard and Motley Crue and all the same
It's terrible.
typical. I mean, after you hear those songs for the 1400th time, I don't know. To me, I've kind of fallen out of it. I've still got my stuff. I haven't sold anything, but because I know what I'll do, I'll sell it and buy it again. But
Start listening to obscure 60s and 70s songs. I know
Yeah, I was
how
gonna
much
say,
you listen to those, but
move
it's like
away from the same old, and purposefully endeavor into a different genre.
80s pop music.
yeah,
I listen to a lot of early 70s soul. The Philly soul shit is what I love.
I listened to your Funk Station playlist.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
now
That's
and again.
yeah. There's a good. I got a good one for Old Soul. It's like Lou Rawls, the Stylistics, the
You will never
Spinners.
find-
Oh, it's the best.
When I got really bored with country, I started listening to a lot of Western.
You play both country and western.
Rebel joke.
I love it.
So I didn't know a couple things. I've been listening the last half hour or so. I didn't know the details on the Thorn thing. Why he left Fender. That was news to me.
Like somebody was asked to leave.
Yeah. Because both of my custom shop guitars have his name on the certificate.
Mm.
So
Oh,
They're worth
really?
Nothing now.
exactly. Nothing or more.
Listen, I'm not shocked that he's gone. I'm shocked to find out that he's straight.
I'm not entirely sure that he's not Vinnie Vincent.
Exactly.
Oh,
Have they ever been seen in the same room at the same time?
Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, take a look at Vinnie Vincent and then Ron Thorne and tell me it's not.
Do
the
it till
same.
you're satisfied. Mikey, who's that? BT Express? Do it. Yeah, it is BT Express.
Oh, it is the same person. I'm looking right now.
Yeah, how is he straight? In a pantsuit.
Don't shit on pantsuits, says Hanley Bob.
What the hell?
Oh, my
Sukiyaki.
God.
That was by A Taste of Honey. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. Ooh.
Yeah, I remember seeing this.
I might be unstumpable. Was Sukiyaki A Taste of Honey
I don't know what that is.
a band?
What's that?
A Taste
I
of
know-
Honey?
I know Taste on Honey.
Oh, the original version is a Japanese guy, yeah.
Yeah, Herb Alpert was the one that made it famous.
Yeah, I tend to agree with both Dave and Fernwood for Ryan. Dave said 70s soul. Fernwood said the Detroit music scene from the late 60s. Yeah, I like both of those. I think that's the move.
Is Devil with the Blue Dress Detroit from the late 60s?
Yeah, Mitch
Yeah.
Ryder and Detroit Wheels.
I'd rather have you chop my balls off and feed them to me.
Devil with
Oh,
the blue dress.
I'm not talking about Mitch Ryder.
Oh, that's
I'm talking about
horrendous stuff.
Motown. Sorry.
Oh, Motown, yes, for sure.
5554.
No, I'm not like, hey, everybody,
Yeah.
you should listen to Mitch Ryder. Like, what?
Devil in a Blue Dress is like just
Hey,
fucking
guys. my
just
buddy
throw me
says,
in prison and peg me.
my buddy says he's done with music. He never wants to hear it again. I got the perfect idea to get him back into it. Devil
Right.
with the blue dress.
Oh, yeah, no, Motown for sure. In fact, I even like the Spinners when they were on Motown. Old Stevie Wonder, Heaven Help Us All is a great record there.
Wasn't the Spinners a Philly band?
They were originally the Detroit Spinners. They did It's a Shame, the way you da 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 da. And then in 70, after that hit, they lost their contract. The lead singer left. They brought in Philippe Wynne. They moved down to Philly and came out with This is a Fork in the Road. Whenever,
I'll
hey
be there.
Pam, whenever you call me, I'll be there. Could it? Yeah, could it be? Although
Rubber
Bobby
Band
Smith
Man.
sang both the Rubber Band Man was Philippe Wynne singing.
I love that intro. I mean, I'm listening to my music outside, smoking a cigar. That comes out. Bow, 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 bow.
Oh, it's the best.
And-
Oh man, Philippe Wynne's great. Spinners were great.
Lionel
the Pips.
Richie, Commodores.
Oh, great.
Brick House.
I love Zoom.
A lot of good stuff there, Ryan.
Oh, Zooms are great. Yeah, they're a
Hopefully
lot.
you know all of it.
Yeah.
Gotta spend some time with it.
Then there was that cover of Brick House that Rob Zombie did with Lionel Richie. And Lionel Richie had no idea how it was going to be used in House of Thousand Corpses. They're chopping a guy apart.
I
don't think Lionel didn't sing or write Brick House.
He didn't sing or write it. I'm just saying that he did a duet with Rob Zombie.
Right, but having him in the song with somebody doing it is like
it's just trying to capitalize on the nostalgia and cash and all that. Yeah,
exactly.
He did what? He played one of the horns in that song.
That's exactly right. He was a horn player on that.
Yeah, I don't remember which one.
Walter, I forget the guy's last name, but Walter wrote that tune. He wrote like some of the earlier funk tunes. Walter Finley. And yeah, I mean, Lionel really took over the band around like 76, 77 when Easy came out and Zoom. I think it's the eponymous album just called The Commodores. When he really took over, and then they started doing like 3 Times a Lady, and they just became a sellout band, even though I still like them, but they weren't the funk band they were, you know.
According to the interwebs here, Lionel Richie does have a writing credit on Brick House. But he's one of 4 people that have it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got to be the whole band. Walter in there. What's Walter's last name?
Ronald Laprede, Thomas McClary, and Milan Williams.
Ronald might be the guy that wrote it. Maybe sings it.
Everett Cummins says the cold states might get you fired up. You mean the cold stairs, I assume?
Yeah. You know what gets you fired up is the Ohio players. Nobody quite brings it like Sugarfoot Bonner. She's a real bad missus in those skin-tight breeches, leaving folks in ditches.
Now,
honey's bound to bust stitches. Oh, fuck.
I believe their probably best known hit was what? Like
Love Roller Coaster.
Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
Say what?
Of love. Say what? Oh, they were
that weird voice is pretty fun.
That's Sugarfoot Bonner. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He also fire. Boom, boom, boom. You're hot. You're hot. Really gets me off to a 5-alarm child. Anyone that can throw the word child after a line in a song, you pay fucking respect.
See, I think Ryan's going to dig the Ohio players because one of their hits is called Jive Turkey.
Ooh, I love Jive Turkey.
Yeah.
I usually go to the deli for that.
I love Ohio off the Angel album.
Oh, you ever watch that killer what's that basketball movie that Will Ferrell did? The Flint Tropics.
You call me a Jive Turkey? No, he said you were a cocksucker. He never called you a cocksucker.
Everybody's fine with it until one guy says Jive Turkey.
That's a great bit. Oh, the Gap Band. Awesome. I love all that fun stuff.
You bop
drop early in the morning, drop the bomb on me, burn rubber, outstanding. Oops upside your head. Shake. Oh, that band was great. Harry Casey wrote a lot of great songs, all the fucking Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Oh, there you go.
Great.
Echoed.
Actually, you should. Let It Whip was the Daz Band. You should really get into like a lot of. There's a guy. He's one of my favorite songwriters of all time. Neil Sedaka says he's the greatest songwriter of all time. His name is Barry Gibb. That's somebody messaging me on.
Because I'm living in a world of fools.
But,
John,
I heard you talk about the Tone Master Pro earlier.
I did for a moment, yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I kept up with it. The problem was as much money as Fender spent sending it out to all the different people they sent it out to, and every Facebook ad and Instagram ad and banner ad on every website that I ever go to now. The problem is they shipped it with a firmware that was not there was a firmware that when you take it out of the box, you immediately need to apply the new firmware immediately.
And it's not made yet.
And if you don't, then you're getting like a half-baked version of the unit.
Is that right?
And yeah, and I'm not going to say all, but I will say most of the YouTube crowd didn't bother to update it. and then they tried to demo it with that original stock firmware, which is a reasonable thing to do.
But what I heard is that
when you boot the machine up, and the first thing the screen says after the Fender logo is new firmware available. Please update on Fender's website at this address. And
yeah, but I saw one. You go to the address, it's not there. It's not even there yet.
I have no problem.
So they say you need to update it, but it's not even available.
So I'm gonna conspiracy theory this one. I have no problem with a company being so on top of their product release that they're already updating firmware the moment it comes out. Like hey, we can do this better. I think, however, in my conspiracy way, this is actually a response to lukewarm reviews from everybody, as opposed to the fact that none of these guys that they paid were like, this is incredible. Everybody was just kind of like, yeah, it does what everything else does. The UI is good, but and so I have a sneaking suspicion that weeks and weeks ahead of release, these YouTubers all had these videos done and they all sent them into Fender for approval, because that's what they do. Don't fool yourself. And I think Fender knew this isn't great. That's my guess.
I agree with that. Mikey I don't know how to say his name. Hignite says, how about Larry Graham, The Jam? I like Larry Graham okay. I don't love him. I mean, I liked the Earthquake album, Now Do You Want to Dance, Graham Central Station. The Jam I love. See me walking around, I'm the boy about town that you heard of. But yeah, the problem with $1,600 hardware that is like, here's this amp that does that. You can get the same shit out of the 11. You can buy it used. You can buy most of the gear that it's replacing or trying to be is already on the used market for pennies on the dollar. Who cares? Who even cares? It's not like it's late to the party. It's days after the party's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People are giving away paper plates and they're like, we gotta grow some of them. Yeah, good for you. I'm giving these away.
Well, I will say, you guys know me. I've had all those models. Helix, Axfex, Kemper. And I've come to the conclusion that, me personally, I don't enjoy playing any of them as much as I enjoy playing this particular amp sitting here. I can't say every tube amp, but this one that I've bought 5 times.
Yeah.
It's just an amp I really, really like to play. So I keep that amp, and when I want to mess around with the digital stuff, I get the plugins and stuff like that from Neural DSP for $80 or $100, and I play with them, and it satiates that, it's not a real amp, but it's an amp, and you can go direct and whatever. But I mean, really, the only need for the hardware is if you're literally out like gigging with it. That's the only reason you need the hardware.
I don't like giving Dave too much credit for obvious reasons, but he sort of hit the nail on the head earlier when he said, in regards to these modelers, they should advertise it and call it what it is and say your audience is going to believe the sounds. Yeah. They don't know. Yeah. Because really, when you're on stage with a real amp and a stack behind you, it's the air pushing that energizes you and makes you feel good. The audience gets none of that. No. They just hear that snapshot of whatever the microphone picks up and sends through the PA. So give them that. Well, that's what it should be advertised as. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I played live. I got to play the Anaheim House of Blues with that Elvis Simmons gig, and at that point in time, I was playing the Helix, and I got stuck using in-ears. I hate using in-ears, but a Helix sounded fucking good. Sounded great through that big PA in that room. Holy cow.
I did an open jam a couple of weeks ago, and the amp I played through was terrible. Terrible. But when I play, I listen to it acoustically. I'm assuming it's going to sound like shit. Now, I went and re-EQ'd the amp for what I wanted to hear. But for the most part, thing had no sustain. It was terrible. But I'm used to practicing with no amp at all. So I was like, I don't even give a fuck. And then afterwards, someone's like, oh, that sounded great. I'm like, yeah, what do you know? And that's the whole truth about the audience. What do you know? I've gone and seen bands where I'm like, this is the worst guitar tone I've ever. I mean, I saw you look at the Van Halen channels, they're all like, oh, I saw Van Halen on this here, and I saw him there. Listen, I saw Van Halen on the 2007 tour, and his guitar tone was abysmal. It was the worst fucking sounding live guitar tone I ever heard.
It's like a tin can.
It was horrendous.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, Eddie's tone. Yeah, Eddie's tone was great on the first 6 albums. After that, you can fuck yourself. Who cares? Eddie's tone. He sounded horrible. It sounded like like when a wah-wah is half cocked and you get that nasal sound?
Sure.
Now go to the amp, take all the bass and mids out and just crank the treble. That's what it sounded like.
Wow.
Trebly mid-range. It was horrendous.
Brutal.
And he's using a fucking tube amps and all the stuff. He was better off using a modeling amp. The audience doesn't know either it's good or bad. And you can make good or bad out of good amps or bad amps. It doesn't matter. Billy Gibbons, every fucking other show, I don't think he was using the same amp twice. He toured one year with an 11 rig. The next year he's back out there with Vox. Then he had Magnetones.
Yeah, he used everything.
Sounds like Billy every show. He sounds great.
I have anecdotal evidence for this whole conversation. I've seen live Killswitch Engage and Queensryche 2 different nights, but both of those shows.
Wait, was I saying Ron Thorne was gay?
Yes,
that was
they
you.
They were using both of them were using Kempers, and I would tell you, in terms of like a pure heavy metal live experience, I've never heard a better sounding, and I'm not exaggerating. The audio, never heard better than that Killswitch show.
Wow. And Killswitch was using Kemper?
They were using Kempers. It was crushing. Unbelievably crushing. The whole thing. The drums sounded amazing. The vocals were amazing. The guitars were incredible. Yeah. And then I heard Queensryche doing the same thing one time, and they were using Kempers, and it was flat as a pancake.
Right.
You were listening to their audio mix, and I was like, I don't even want to be here anymore. I left after I think 5 songs.
Yeah.
It was
awful. either the sound guy gets it or he doesn't.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah,
I saw Iron Maiden and Irvine, and the fucking sound was so incredible at that Irvine amphitheater. Yeah, and then I saw them in Mansfield, Massachusetts. The sound was so loud and overbearing. It was absurd.
I have never heard a good mix at Great Woods.
No, it's terrible.
Never.
First of all, it's loud enough to play a place 3 times the size. Turn the fucking system down.
You probably liked Greek theater a lot, right?
Oh, I loved it. Loved it. That's the best sounding place in LA.
And it's funny because they have noise limitations because it's in the neighborhood. So they can't go as loud as some of the other venues.
That's probably why every show I've been to at the Greek, I'm like, this place knows how to do sound. It's not super loud or overbearing.
Yeah, when I saw Porcupine Tree there last year, it was absolutely stunning. Listening to the sound of that band, it was like, I don't think, it's like, this is incredible. It was one of the best performances.
And the Hollywood Bowl has a good sound.
Yeah, I've never been there. Believe it or not, I've never been there. Lived here for
they
like
have a good
17
sound.
years.
It's bigger than the Greek. It's a little louder than the Greek, but not much. But still a good sound. But the Greek sound is stellar. I mean, it is stellar.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing I would have loved to have been is at the Greek when they were recording live at the Greek for Neil Diamond.
Why do you think they didn't call it the Anal Theater? I'm just curious.
The Greek Snake Theater. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my
God. Love that, but I'm telling you, like I think I saw Black Sabbath at the Greek with Howie. We went and saw before Dio when they did the Heaven and Hell tour.
Yeah.
And even that sounded fantastic. The sound is the shit.
Yeah.
You go to Great Woods down here, it's like they're trying to let you hear it in fucking Worcester. It's too loud.
Is it indoors or outdoors?
Yeah.
It's outdoors. It's like the same kind of venue. but
Yeah,
the volume's 3 times the volume. I'm like, what? I'm right here, guys. Let's turn that.
I saw Def Leppard at some state fair amphitheater thing in Detroit when I still lived there when I was in high school or something. And I remember that show being like what you're describing. It was so loud that it was unbearable. Like you didn't want to be there. It sounded so harsh and awful.
I just
And
hate
then it
that
was
they
Def
do
Leppard,
that.
so that made it worse.
Right. I just hate that they do. I hate venues where the sound guy doesn't have a sense of, oh, we have the wattage. Let's just crank it up. Fuck you,
Right.
dude. Make the thing sound good.
Right. They bring it all the way to clipping and then just take it back from there. They're
Right.
Like, all right,
It's like,
we maxed
oh
it
yeah,
out.
yeah.
It's awful.
It's like, you know who has the best seats? The people in the parking lot.
Right.
That's the volume that I want to hear it at.
We used to do that at Great Woods. We wouldn't buy tickets for the shows, but we just tailgate in the parking lot and listen to the bands.
You can hear everything out there. It's just so fucking loud. It's
funny.
absurd. It's absurd. Did I mention how it's absurd it is?
It is
Folks,
absolutely absurd.
it is 10:40.
Oh,
Still have
geez,
some time
no
left
less.
if you guys want to. But I just want to say, everyone, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. I know we've a lot of things going on. You could be home. You could be sitting in there watching the news and getting depressed, or you could be watching us here and having a good time, enjoying yourself.
You
It's
could
up
be
to
watching
you.
the Patriots and getting depressed.
Why would football doesn't get me depressed? I could care less.
You gave up
I'm
on
so
it.
done
No,
with
that's
sports.
I gave up on football, but I just take that dig for Patriots fans. So.
Oh,
I've heard that.
you can't. First of all, you're a Steelers fan. You
Yeah.
can't dig at the Pats.
Hey, well, all I know is when Steelers are shitty, they still sell out their stadium. Now they're selling out their stadium now, but all during the 80s, you couldn't give away tickets for the Patriots.
The only dynasty they've had recently is fucking Kiss Dynasty. They play I Was Made for Loving You in the stands. No, they have no, I mean, they have no team.
I've heard. I remember, not being a New England guy. I mean, if you paid any attention to the league in general, for years it was how much of a genius Belichick was, and it's funny because as soon as Brady's gone, it's like he's exposed.
So is Belichick. Yeah.
You know,
Well, no, I don't mean
It's
Brady.
very
I
much
mean
like a
Belichick.
Columbo episode called Murder by the Book. You see, what happens is Jack Cassidy's writing partner that does all the work wants to go on his own. Well, that's going to expose Jack Cassidy for being Belichick, not quite the greatest coach in football. Maybe it was Brady. But anyways,
all fairness,
so he ends up killing him.
Brady deserves everything he should get, as far as accolades. But I will say this about Belichick. I mean, it's like when Brady was out, I mean, Castle, who last time played in high school, he went 11-5. Brissett would come in. Any quarterback went in, did well there. I think the problem now is that they're not giving him the right tools. I mean, it's like I still think he's a really good coach, but as much as he knows, he can't fucking work with shit. I mean, there comes a point where you have a pile of shit and you can't make gold out of it.
Well, let me say this about that, why I disagree with that statement. Mac Jones, I would have pulled him out of last season, got rid of him, and had Zeppi playing. Doesn't take a fucking wizard to realize you fucking you're putting bad money into more bad. Get rid of him. So to me, that tells me that he's fucked up because everybody else was expendable to him back in the day. Welker, everybody was expendable. So fuck him. And fuck the Pats. I don't care. Football's gay.
So mad. I love
Football's gay.
It's horrible. I got better things to do on a Sunday or a Monday. Like, I got better things to do than watch football. Watch a bunch of guys fucking crybaby about fucking how the world's unfair to them. Fuck you guys.
I was at the cigar place on Monday, and there's like there's an injury every friggin' play. It's like, oh, so-and-so's injured.
Now, hold on. I don't know if
So-and-so's
Ryan caught this. Ryan, Yngwie Malmsteen was on the Rick Beato show. Did you catch it?
Damn, I must have missed it.
Well, here's a photo from it.
What's your favorite joke?
Oh, wait a second. That's not Yngwie. That looks like Sweetums. I'm sorry. I thought, when it was much smaller on my screen, I thought it was Yngwie.
Yeah, but it's
Sweetums
Sweetums
J, in case
wearing-
you have it confused with any
wearing
of the
cowboy
Sweetums.
boots with a 2-inch heel.
I got to tell you how much I love Sweetums. I love Sweetums.
Do you love them as much as you love Ingve?
Years ago, I'm playing a club, and this girl's dancing like in front of the area that I'm playing, and she's a big girl. And when I say big girl, I'm not saying she's overweight. I'm saying she's also 6'2",
Did you say?
and
"Hey,
she
Sweetums,
had like
get out of
big 80s hair. And I swear to God, I looked over at fucking Jimmy, and I'm like, fucking Sweetums in front of me dancing. She looked just like Sweetums, which is why the photo was that readily available in my phone.
I bet you it was Robin Crosby. He probably didn't die.
Oh, this was a chick. This was a chick. This chick she encompassed Sweetums. I think I even got a few pictures of her because I was like, I was jarred. I'm like, Sweetums in person.
Still, nothing beats the era of spandex where you had 600-pound women jamming into spandex. It's like, it was a horrendous sight.
Yeah, it sounds it.
You ever see that Jeff Dye joke where he goes, women seem to get really mad at me when I tell them, like, yeah, you're beautiful. You look just like Lizzo.
It's great.
Because he's like, they're all full of shit. Everybody wants to tell you how beautiful Dylan Mulvaney is, but then you're like, yeah, you're gorgeous. You look just like Dylan Mulvaney. And they give you a dirty look.
Yeah,
It's the
turn
funniest
the
thing ever.
tables on
Ever
it.
see there's a on Instagram, you know those reels? There's a great reel where somebody's talking about Lizzo, and he goes, someone said she was beautiful. I'm like, she looks like the shit emoji.
That's mean.
I was like, this
That's
is
really
fucking
mean.
gold. How the hell is
Oh,
this shit
God.
coming to my phone? It's gold. She looks like the shit emoji.
That's awful.
It's true, though. Look, I don't care. Look, the whole thing about people don't want to be shamed while they're eating fat. And the reason why people are so behind it is just because people eat unhealthy and they're serving you poison. And it's easy to get off of it. But it's like, but don't sit there and tell me that, look at Victoria's Secret. You see what happened to Victoria's Secret? They went woke last year. They started putting dudes and ugly people in it took all the models out. They lost $1 billion. They're like, we fucked up.
No
I
shit.
didn't know
And they couldn't see that before they did that. That's the whole thing. It's like,
Yeah. Because people were like, who's the soccer player, the girl that sucks on the U.S., but she thinks she's world
Megan
class?
something.
Yeah.
Megan something.
Yeah, the one that won't shut up.
She
about-
earned $7,000 a year, but what does he say? What's the Family Guy joke? She's earning $7,000 a year, but is it worth it being that ugly? That's up to the fan to decide. And there's like one guy in the stands. Yay!
And of course,
But
they always
anyways,
bring up that they lost to a high school team.
yeah. But my point was, she was saying like, "Oh, Victoria's Secret just caters to what men want." Yes, it's lingerie geared to entice men.
Yeah.
You see, when men go out at night, they're looking to if they're with somebody or they're not with somebody, so the lady thinks they look good. But no one fucking bitches and moans because we're trying to look good for the lady. So why would you care? Oh, it's a patriarchy. You're trying to fuck off.
It's Megan Rapinoe.
Listen, there wouldn't
Rapinoe.
be Rapinoe. Oh yeah, there wouldn't be
Rapinoe.
women like you bitching if it wasn't for straight people fucking.
What? This is going off the rails. I don't even know where we're at right now.
I'm trying to take it down I'm trying to take it down a dirt road.
What?
I'm just saying, like, they sit there and they bitch how the fucking heterosexual world works, but it's like, if it wasn't for that, you ain't born,
Yep.
right?
Oh, but men can get pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they can't pass it through their fucking
The
hips if
miracle
they
of the
could.
rectal child.
There's a strong chance I was a rectal child.
Oh, I love that term.
My mom
Rectal child.
My mom said they couldn't get to the doctor in time, so I was born with a splash.
Oh,
A brown baby boy.
It just rinsed me off.
my 14-year-old boy.
What's her name?
Margot Martindale.
That's such an amazing, amazing performance.
Oh my God, she's the greatest.
I'm so proud of you.
The
Learned how to
wrong
play the
boy,
guitar, didn't
guy.
even have a sense of smell.
Dewey, do you ever just sit back and smell the roses? I don't have any fucking sense of smell. This interview's over.
That's a really great line.
Hey, Mikey
Tell me
Hyde,
you've
he
seen
says
that,
it's
Ryan.
almost impossible to jerk off to that magazine these days, Victoria's Secret. He says almost impossible. So that's questionable.
Wait, who said? Oh, funny.
It's like if you're looking at the good ones in there, you can't help but cross the bad ones. So
Have you seen Dewey Cox, Ryan?
Yes, I have seen it. Yeah.
I actually have not yet. I've seen bits and pieces.
Oh, come
Oh,
on.
really?
Get with
Yeah, I
it.
know. I'm that far behind.
Yeah.
You got to get with the
Genius.
program.
Yeah. Maybe I'll watch that
Something's
after the
happening
Ingve interview.
here, and it ain't exactly obvious. So stupid.
Fucking great.
Is that the one about putting the top half back on the bottom half?
Yeah. You're never
I
going to
saw
make
that
it, Dewey.
I love
Kristen Wiig was great in it.
the scene where the doctor's like, we were unable to attach the top half of his body to the bottom half of his body. And he goes,
You know what else is a very
English,
underrated
speak
movie?
English, Doc. We ain't scientists.
We ain't scientists. Yeah. You know what's another great one with Kristen Wiig is where
language
she
line
plays
ever.
Vicky St. Elmo.
Oh, I love it. Vicky St. Elmo?
MacGruber.
Oh, the best. Yeah.
Unbelievable. You gotta believe me, cunt. I didn't write that
Yeah,
manifesto.
she's talented.
Yeah,
She's
no
ended up
shit,
in
you
some shitty
didn't.
roles.
I did.
How old is Ingve?
Will
I
Forte's
absolutely-
fucking gold.
I love the scene in that movie where she's like trying desperately not to have to do this stuff in the coffee shop. She's like,
Oh, it's
"Do I have
great.
to?" And he's like, yeah.
She's dressed as him.
Yeah.
Why am I going in exactly?
I haven't watched that in a long time. I'm gonna go find that. It's one of the best.
MacGruber. Have you seen MacGruber, Ryan?
No.
You're gonna
Oh,
kill
one
me.
of the
I haven't
best.
seen that either.
that is gold. I'm telling you, Forte is one of the funniest pricks ever.
I tell you, that first season of Last Man on Earth wasn't bad, but then
I never saw it.
subsequent seasons were.
Yeah, but it's so great. Even Val Kilmer's great in it. Everyone's great in that movie. I'm
DJ
putting the
Val
team back together. I got the team back there, and they were sitting there in a van loaded with C4.
Right. I packed by hand myself.
Guys, oh,
There's so much to talk about with that one. Ryan, you got to
Yeah.
see that one. Maybe
Was-
next
yeah,
week's
it's a-
DL show will be the
Was
MacGruber
Ingve really
special.
on with
Catch
Rick
up.
Beato?
What?
Oh, he was. I thought
It's
that
I just
was
showed
a
you the
joke.
picture.
Yeah,
I
it's a
thought that
great.
was a joke, but he
He
was
will.
actually on there.
He is on
Yeah.
there.
He's 60.
I know that I'm the only one that actually took the time to watch it, but it was a great interview. I liked it.
Ingve's 60.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's about right. When he came out, let me see.
63. Yep. He's 163.
So 83, he was 20 when he was 20 when he
Yeah.
did that Alcatraz album. And
He-
82, he did the
Was it Steeler?
Steeler.
Steeler. Yeah.
84 was Rising Force.
Yeah. Was 84 or 85?
He talks about the
85
Rising
was
Force
Marching
thing.
Out.
Say it again, John.
He talks about the Rising Force recording, and it's actually it was pretty funny. He said that recording was done on behest of the Japanese side of the record company. It was completely done by the Japanese. They paid for the whole thing, and he said he actually recorded that in Stevie Wonder's mobile recording rig.
Oh, wow.
So Stevie Wonder had like a truck, and
Yeah.
it was recorded at the Stevie Wonder's truck. He didn't make a big deal about that. He just mentions it as he's talking about it, and he kind of chuckles about it because it is so ironic, or not ironic, but
I love the acoustic sound on. Is it Icarus Suite or something?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's
I
don't know. I think the guy nowadays is incredibly relatable. I like the fact that he's
maybe, but his music still stinks.
No, of course it is. Of course it is. I agree with that. But I like how Scandinavian he is. Just like I said earlier, there's no time for BS.
the way he talks.
He's like, "What do you mean less is more? No, that can't be. More is more."
I mean, every song it's harmonic minor.
I know.
It just gets old. Yeah,
the music's boring for sure.
Have you watched, John? Have you watched Two Set Violin? It's two Chinese violinists that are like 30, and they but it's all classical music. But it's very interesting. It's an interesting take on music.
Dave, do you like honest question? Do you like Beato's content?
No, I don't watch him.
Being a theory guy, I figured you would be into his stuff.
I find him boring, and I don't really like discussing theory with people because, like, I hate the modes thing, and so he's big into the modes thing. And the classical musicians I relate to more on that end because classical music, they don't use modes. They just say,
"What key?
Here's the key, play, and here's the songs." They don't, it's like, and to me that makes more
play
sense.
It as written.
Yeah, I just don't care for we're going to use the Locrian mode. Fuck off. It's so silly. But yeah, I just can't stand that kind of talk. And also, like, a lot of his stuff is, why is this song great? Like, I did a thing on my channel, and let me just give the finger to everybody in my chat for not watching. I did these albums that I thought were great that were overlooked.
Yep.
That's something for me to say to you. Listen, go check these albums out. You may not know them, but they're often overlooked. He sits there, why this song is great. And then he's listening to Tom Sawyer, and he's like, oh, listen to the drum, listen to the bass. If it was any difference in that song, it would still be the same song. A song is a song. So it's real easy to sit there and take a fucking great song and then say why it's great and have your thinking of why it's great. But it's great because it's great. It's a moot point.
I actually didn't like his "This Is Why This Song Is Great."
Oh, I hate them.
No,
those videos. I thought when I first was gonna watch one, I think the first one was a Rush one, and I thought what was gonna happen is he was gonna tell me something like cool, like, oh, it's because this happens in the song this way, and it creates XYZ dynamic. I thought I was gonna get some cool insider info, and instead all he does is goes over every single thing about the song. Oh, the drums are great, the guitars are great, and I was like, well, I know. That was a waste of my time.
I hate when he goes woo woo,
but he fanboys the shit, and it's just like, well, that's not what makes it great.
Right.
The bass playing doesn't make it great. The keyboard, it's the sum of all shit, but it's still just a great song. And if you sat there and you said, why is Yesterday? Let me tell you why Yesterday is a great song. Listen to this. I mean, has any song ever been thought of as a great song?
What makes a song great? I'm not listening to you tearing
a guitar, this, that. It's a melody, and you can sing it, and it's in your head. And because my thought is, if you could tell me what makes a song great, then you should be out there writing great fucking songs. But you're not, or at least producing them, and you're not. You're on YouTube, pandering to people and telling people what they want to hear. And it's silly. And the thing is, it's like, see, when I sat there and I'm like, here's an album by David Sylvian. Nobody's going to fucking know who David Sylvian. You guys don't know who David Sylvian is, but he was in a band called Japan, and he had a solo album in 1986. I think the Gone to Earth album is worth
I knew
a
the
listen
name.
Everybody.
I didn't know the music until you brought it up to albums 86.
But I'm just saying, now I'm putting my dick out there because now you go out back and listen to it, and Ryan could come back and go, you know what? That album put me to sleep and I like it a lot. And Bingham's going to come back and go, that sucked. And that's okay, but it's something you never listened to before. And I like it. But the point is for you to check out something that I dig, that I grew up on, and you could check it out. And it would be cool if other people did that instead of You know those reaction videos? I mean, lately it's like
Nothing
every
worse.
I never watch them. And lately, like 6 different Gino Vanellis. I'm like, oh, he must be in the cycle now. Everyone's going to react to a Gino Vanelli record. Like, I don't need you to react to a record. We know they're fucking awesome. The musicianship is sick. It's
You've been
fucking
talking
great.
about that guy for years. On here, you've been talking about.
I love him. Love him. But like
By the
to
way,
sit there and say
Gino Vanelli and Vinnie Moore have never been in the same room.
Yeah,
that is very
that's
true.
been said before.
But the funny thing is to sit there and say, like, I tell everybody, listen, everyone's going to tell you brother to brother. That's the album. Go check out the album Nightwalker by Gino Vanelli. It's fucking the shit. Vinnie Colaiuta on drums, Mike Miller on guitar. The album's unbelievable. No one's going to sit there and tell you these guys are reacting to songs that are #1 hits. Who cares?
I only knew
Oh,
2
you didn't know the
songs
song?
until Dave brought it
Yeah.
up,
Oh,
and I
this
got
is going to be
CDs.
such a great video. You're watching a #1 hit that you've never heard before, and you're going to act like it's a great song. No shit, it's a great song. We don't need you, 2 fucking shitheads, a husband and wife shithead, one who's she's showing her cleavage. The only reason why men are watching the fucking channel to sit there and say why you like this song. Oh my God, that Slipknot song is so great. Someone recommends it. You're going to like it because you're pandering to the shitbags that are suggesting it.
Well, that
Which is
whole
why,
spec-
and I'm just saying, anyone that watches any of my lesson videos, if someone says, hey, there's a great song by Wishbone Ash, can you teach it? I always hit heart and thumbs up, and I never address it. No, I'm not going to teach it. I can't stand the band, and I don't care. I'm not here to make videos for you. I'm here to make them for me. You want to throw me $100 in the chat or in my on my PayPal? I'll teach you this song. Otherwise, no, I'm not doing Wishbone Ash. No, I'm not doing some rare beat cut by England. I had every England Dan and John Ford Coley hit, greatest hits. Somebody requests a song. I'm like, that's not even on any of their greatest hits. Does this song even like? What are you asking me? Oh yeah, let me get to that. My audience is gonna love it. They hated me for doing one England Dan and John Ford Coley song, let alone 2, and one that no one knows. It's unbelievable.
Hugh called.
So what you're trying
I'm
to-
reacting to a song called "Stairway to Heaven."
Yeah,
That's another-
exactly.
That's how toxic that theme is on YouTube, or that content. I've noticed 2 things. Anytime somebody does a reaction, let's just say the ones that I've seen, it'll be like a black guy reacting to a metal song.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it'll be, here's
Yeah,
me
the 2
reacting
guys
to
there.
Thunderstruck from
listening to
AC/DC.
Megadeth.
He does that, and then a week later, there's 30 more that react the exact same way, like they'd never heard it before, and it's like, somebody's not telling the truth, and I think it's everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to react to Pink Floyd Time. And then literally when that came out like a couple of years ago, there was 400 videos in my thing saying everyone's doing Time.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've never heard this before. And they're listening to it like, oh, this is so amazing what they mean. And then they tell you what the lyrics mean and everything. And I'm like, oh, you didn't spend fucking 2 months prepping for this video?
Then you had black guys reacting to Bobby Caldwell. He comes out of the shadows in the video, and they're all surprised that he's white.
Yeah. That's an old joke.
Yeah, but I mean, there's reaction videos.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying, and they're just mimicking the old joke.
Yeah,
It was like a comedian years before that used to say, who the fuck told that guy he could be white? Like it was a...
You know what I think is funny is that there's all of the black guys, reacting to the white guy music, like the metal music. And then every once in a while, you'll see where like a bunch of hillbilly white guys try and do the same thing and react to like rap songs and whatnot. Doesn't work the same.
Right.
It's not
You know
as
what I
good.
should do is I listen to black music. It's going to be my next video, my reaction to black music. And I'm going to find the most tribal, like of Kenya.
You're gonna make it horrible and racist.
King Sonny
No,
Ade.
No, but it's funny just seeing both sides of it. It's like the white guy.
No, it's ridiculous. No, but that's
White
but
guys
you
don't
don't
have the
think
same
they-
charisma. They can't pull it off. They need to stop it. That's for all of you whiteys listening right now.
Yep. Whoa.
So I guess after all that, Dave, what you're trying to say is you don't have your pre-order in for Rick Beato's new cherry-colored Les Paul special signature.
I do not.
Man.
But I will say this. You know those reaction videos are fake.
Yeah.
When they sit there and they're like, we're going to listen to a song by Styx, and it's like Come Sail Away, and they're not calling the singer out for being gay. That's how you know it's fake. There is no way someone's listening to I'm sailing, and you're like, all right.
Come sail away, lads.
Didn't I see you sing this on Star Search and Sneakers? It's a Sam Harris joke from the
Every
80s,
reaction
folks.
is positive too, because it's pandering.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, some woman, you know what my pet peeve is when people try to come from a place of authority?
Yeah.
British guitar player listens
Right.
to,
Oh,
or
yeah, right.
vocal teacher, vocal teacher, and she's a
react, yeah.
vocal coach or opera singer, and she's listening to a live of the Ethel Merman of
remember
rock and roll,
Queen's right
Jeff
now.
Tate,
Jeff
Yeah.
Tate.
and he's
I know the one you're talking about.
he's so out of tune in this track, and she's like, "Oh my God, he's fantastic! He's fantastic." The guy can't find pitch. Now I'll give it to him. It might be a bad night because I've seen him sing great, and I hear him in the studio. He sounds great, but that sounds like shit, and you're a liar.
She should do one to the Vince Neil My Honk video.
That's something I got to watch now.
For sure. It's incredible.
Do you think it would hit home if I did a reaction to a Kentucky Headhunters video?
Oh, that's one of my favorites, Fernwood. Classical
be
composer.
The most spot on review of all time. People would be like, this guy, he's heard this before.
But you know that you guys have seen this one, like classical composer listens to Black Sabbath or something like that,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, you're a classical composer. Which orchestra is fucking playing yours? The Firemen's Battalion, whatever the hell the maestro on Seinfeld's
Doug
conducting.
Helverning.
Ryan,
Somebody find out what is that? What is the maestro's orchestra on Seinfeld?
Oh,
Whatever it is, that's who this guy's writing for. It's like, oh yeah, when I think of it, so this would be like, am I supposed to think this is what Brahms would think of fucking Black Sabbath or fucking Beethoven?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the most
classical
conceited-
composer.
The most conceited.
Ryan Ray did
You're
a
talking
reaction
about Doug
video.
Helverning for sure. I know.
I have no
you
idea
are.
who he is, but the whole
That's
thing
what
it
his
says
name is, and he'll just be listening to it, and he'll be like, oh, it's F sharp, and then up to and then up to a C sharp. Okay, yeah.
oh, so bad.
Ryan Ray did a reaction video. His guitarist reacts to someone throwing a rock at window. I remember that one.
So, actually,
Yeah, but what I'm saying it's just that absurd, that whole thing of coming from a place of authority.
Yeah.
Classical composer. When I think of my three favorite classical composers, get ready, Bingham, because I need his name. I think of Mozart, Bach, and
Doug Helverning.
Exactly. When I think of really difficult pieces to play of music on piano, I think of Rachmaninoff, I think of Liszt, and I think of
Elton John.
Doug. What's his name? I want the classical composer.
Doug Helverning.
Doug Helverning.
Okay, what's this shtick from?
Thank you. That's right. He's writing for the Policemen's Benevolent Association Orchestra.
That's really
Fessler
funny.
got it.
Thanks, Fez.
Hey,
That's who the maestro's the conductor for. I know for a fact that Leonard Bernstein has his friends call him maestro. Somebody walked up to him at a bar once and said, "Can I get you a beer, maestro?" And he said, "Sure." Bob Cobb. I'm telling you right now, the maestro episode's great. It's great.
So, vocal coach reacts.
There's one where she reacts to Rob Halford. He's
Is
out
that
of
the
tune.
one that smiles all the time?
He's out of tune all over the place. He sounds like a fucking duck that got hit by a car. He's just whack. I mean, he's good some nights, but you can watch these guys because now the world sees everything. These people go out and sing, and then you wonder why they use vocal tracks. Some of these people can't sing.
Yeah.
But And I'm not saying that Unleashed in the East is overdubbed on the vocals, but I heard there was some issue. I'm kidding. Of course it's overdubbed. His fucking singing's flawless on it. But
As
yeah, and
flawless as
she's
it
just
can
like,
be for
oh,
him.
he's great.
Terrible voice.
Listen to that pitch. It's like, I can hear it sharp.
Yeah,
How
what
come
pitch
you
is it?
can't?
Yeah, they're full of it.
It's all garbage.
I even heard somebody do a reaction video to Tennessee Whiskey, and she started
kidding?
crying
Oh my
because it was
God.
so beautiful.
Right. She didn't recognize the music is 100% lifted from I'd Rather Go Blind.
It is.
It's 100% lifted.
She had to cry in the reaction video because it was so beautiful.
Oh God, YouTube, what a cesspool.
I know, right? And here we are on
Yep.
it right
There
now.
you go.
Here
Hey,
we
well,
are.
we've taken our little
Here
chunk
we
out.
are. In a room full of shit bags.
You should react to a song that everybody already knows that you know.
Oh, right.
You
I'm
just
going to react to a song by the Big Angry.
right.
Now, I've
One that
only
you
heard
wrote.
this band a few times. I'm not sure I've heard this track
No,
before.
no one reacts to the Macarena.
Oh my God, that's hilarious! You could do that.
No, but the great thing
Bring
about
that
doing the
annoying
Big
song
Angry
back.
is it's the opening song to every one of my videos.
Right.
So when, so when I go to hear it, I'm going to be like, God, this riff is oddly. I'll be like, this is oddly familiar.
Classical composer reacts
Composer
to
of-
NFL theme song, Monday Night Football. You go, "Oh, this is the
Hugh
first time
Caldwell
I've
saying
heard
he
of
saw
Monday
that
Night
Doug do a Genesis song, and it was obvious he heard it 100 times.
Yeah, that's what happens here. Everybody copies everybody else. They're all lying about the first time thing.
Oh, this Doug guy is the quote unquote classical composer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he's the composer for the Policemen's Benevolent Association Orchestra.
And he listens everything he listens to. He just goes, okay, F sharp, yep, to C sharp, okay. And then down to the 1, okay. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to. Why doesn't he listen to, let's say, fucking Verdi or something? I'd like a real composer. I'd like him to. Oh, here's a guy that actually can compose a beautiful piece of music, as opposed to me, who just calls himself a classical composer. The point is if he was a classical composer worth a shit, he wouldn't have to say classical composer. He just would say his name.
Classical.
Chances
Right?
are he
Could
wouldn't
you
have time to
imagine
have a
if
reaction.
Beethoven
To the
were alive?
mentors.
If we exhumed Beethoven tomorrow, he would say what? Okay, he was deaf. If we exhumed Mozart tomorrow and said, listen, it's a different day and age. We're going to put you on this thing called the internet on YouTube, and you're going to listen to music and critique it. And he's going to say, okay, great. Let's call it Mozart listens to. No, we're going to say classical composer. What? People don't know who I am? Just say Mozart. This fucking guy, you don't know what. You wouldn't know that guy from that or the janitor at the local high school. You don't know who he is. In fact, he could be a janitor. Who the fuck knows if he's a classical composer? I've never heard of him. But you know what I'm
I've
saying?
never
It's
actually
like
looked up his credentials before. I'm going to do that now.
Live from the boiler room.
I'm gonna do them. I'm gonna make a whole new channel just to do reaction videos, and I'm gonna say nuclear physicist listens to, and no one's gonna look me up. They're just gonna, if they saw it on the web, they'll believe it. I'm gonna sit there and go, nuclear physicist. That was a big bang. That's a loud crash. That's,
Nuclear physicist watches Mr. Wizard.
Okay, so
seems
this
like
guy
an
is not actually a composer. He was it looks like he was a,
janitor at a place composers composed.
no, it says
exactly. He worked.
collegiate professor. He was a classically trained composer of music and worked as a professor. So this guy got his doctorate in music, and then he never wrote a thing. He just taught at a university.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to listen.
It should be music teacher react to.
Yeah.
Music teacher reacts is better. So I'm looking right now to try and find anything that indicates that he actually like worked at an orchestra, and there's nothing. I'm on his LinkedIn profile right now. Nothing.
Not even Salvation Army Band.
Yeah.
Just educator.
That's
I mean,
it.
that's fine, but why not just call it what it is?
Yeah, music.
Well, you're not a
educator.
music composer then. You have a degree in music composition, but that's not being a composer. Write a song. Mozart, by the time he was fucking 15 years old, probably had about 100 pieces of music written.
Who's this Mozart you keep referring to?
Tom Hulse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about the Daily Doug.
Yeah. Anyways,
Now, do I have to
your
watch
classical
this guy listen to
composer
this
listens to the Beatles. It's like, really?
Classical composer listens.
Listen,
to
if that education did you
Really
any
good.
good, it would have done you good. But what do? You turn around and you go teach. I teach a lot of people music theory all the time, and these people are graduates of Berkeley. I'm not joking.
Yeah,
Those
well,
who
they're taught just a whole mess of information that they can't put to good use.
That
Those
sounds
who
like
It's
me.
unusable. There's no communicating in that music. There's too much of what Rick Beato does, which is discussing modes, and less about how to communicate certain things. And I mean, there are some guys who have some jazz channels on YouTube that do a great job of teaching. One guy I cannot stand is a guy named Jens, the guitar player.
Oh,
I
the
think he's
jazz guy?
the jazz guy. He's a great
Jens.
player, but when he talks about jazz, I lose interest faster than when I'm actually listening to jazz.
Mm.
He's more boring than jazz.
That's hard.
But because he just doesn't communicate it well, and he says, "Oh, you can look at it like this in enclosures," and it's like, you're talking the same nonsense. Barry Harris was awesome though, but I'm just saying there is some stuff that
Is it Jens Larson?
Yeah,
Yes.
Jens Larson.
I've never seen this guy before.
well,
Oh, I've
if
seen
you
it.
watch one video, he'll put you to sleep, and he's a great player, and he's a great musician. But I just don't like the way he teaches.
Who's that guy you like? Barnby.
Oh yeah, I forget his name, but he was good.
I'm gonna.
I watch a lot of the
guys
piano players because I like to see how they look at stuff. And also, there's really nice voicings and stuff that you can steal from good piano players, because piano players will play, like if you ever watch Bill Evans play piano, he plays partial chords in his left hand for the bass, but then he'll play the top triad with all the extensions. And you can kind of see like, oh, so if I'm playing this chord, I can just play this triad and add the root. And it's just really cool ways of looking at chords, which I think is good. Marty Schwartz teaches beginner's ed. I'm talking about people that discuss theoretical stuff like, playing over a 2-5-1. When you get to the 5, playing the altered or the double diminished.
It's still wild to me, and I'm not making any judgments about whether or not it was a good decision. But him getting a signature guitar from Gibson really surprised me.
Marty
Who's
Schwartz.
this?
Marty Schwartz.
Yeah.
Oh, he has a signature too?
I think it's just in the Epiphone line.
Doesn't surprise me, man. That's the modern. These guys are the modern rock stars. YouTube is just.
I forget what song I was watching the other day. He was doing it, and he was absolutely playing the wrong note in it. I wish I remembered what the hell it was he was playing.
I haven't posted a video on my channel, by the way, in 2 years or something like that. And my audience keeps growing. I'm up to like 2,100 subs. When I abandoned it, I was at 1,000.
That's hilarious.
I couldn't get that many people to come to one of my gigs.
Right.
Oh,
So
it was Rock Lobster. He was doing Rock
modern-
Lobster, and he got it
modern
wrong. He's playing.
Oh, really?
Rock.
Oh,
rock?
yeah. It's hilariously wrong.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you learn how you learn. Like when I teach and stuff, to me, it's much more about trying to get people to communicate, like especially like blues guys, or just to try to stretch out of the box and figure out what's going on the guitar. But communicating is everything. And it's like, these guys like Rick Beato, again, are trying to, it's more important to them to sit there and say Phrygian dominant.
It's more important to them to sell a book to explain to you what that means.
Right. But Phrygian dominant is just the fifth mode of the harmonic minor scale. So it's so dumb and such a waste of time, because all you have to say is, if let's say there's something playing an E Phrygian dominant, right? The chords are just going E to F, E to F. I would just say to you, play a harmonic minor. You can figure out that E's the root. But a harmonic minor tells you there's one G sharp. Everything else is natural. There's nothing to even think about. And because I tell you the mode, because I tell you the key, now you can figure out all the triads. And you can communicate through arpeggios. But you're going to memorize fucking 21 or 28 different fucking names of modes, because you got all the modes of the major, all the modes of the harmonic minor, all the modes of the melodic minor, harmonic major, double harmonic major. It becomes an absolute joke. Becomes a joke. And most of the modes tell you within the name of the mode what's going on. Like when you hear Lydian dominant. Oh, that's the Lydian dominant mode. Well, Lydian just means sharp 11 or raised 4. And dominant means it's a major third with a flat 7. There you go. There's all your notes. It's got a flat 7 and a fucking raised 4. You don't have to know anything about music. If I said C Lydian dominant, it has an F sharp and a B flat. You don't have to think about it.
I'd have to think about it.
Well, you shouldn't.
It's too late for
You shouldn't
me.
think about it.
I know the moment somebody says Lydian that it's a raised 4, and I know the moment somebody says dominant that it's a flat 7.
That's right.
But if you were gonna say to me like, oh, it's this key and this, I literally have to count up to be like, what note is it? Oh yeah, it's a flat C. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I said to you, play a harmonic minor,
right,
you know what that is.
A harmonic, is that a raised 6 in a harmonic
It's
minor?
a raised 7, but really I would say it's a natural 7 flat 6. In music, they teach you it's a raised 6, but that's not right. Because if you were to give me the numbers in the scale, it would be 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, 7. So therefore, it's not a raised 7. It's only a raised 7 because compared to the natural minor has a flat 6 and a flat 7. But when you're just talking numbers, what do I have? If I say something's raised, it sounds weird. If I just say, oh, harmonic minor, flat 6. So because I say it's minor, flat thirds implied. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, 7. If it was a natural minor, it would be 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7. If it's a melodic minor, it's 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't have to think about it. There's one flat third in it. Everything else is, the numbers are where it's at. So to me, I hate the fact they say to raise it, because it's not raised. It's back to being natural. You're only raising it compared to the natural minor, but who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you know the C scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You guys all know that scale?
Sure.
Yeah.
So if I said melodic minor is a flat third, can you tell me the scale?
Melodic minor is a flat third. Sure.
So go ahead. What's the scale?
C, D, E flat.
F, G, A, B, A, B, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to think about it. So why would you sit there and say it's a raised 6 and raised 7? It's not.
No,
It's a natural 6 and 7. It's a raised 6 and 7. If we
a melodic minor is merely a flat 3.
That's all it is.
Oh, see,
I just saved you
how
all that time.
That's how I would want the communication.
Yes.
I would
right?
just want it that way. It's way easier.
Yeah. And then if I said to you, a harmonic minor is a flat 3 and a flat 6.
So that's it's a B, but that's a B melodic minor. You're saying flat 3. So there's a flat 3.
Yep. And everything else is natural. That's it.
Oh, interesting.
That's melodic minor.
What do
The
you use
harmonic
that? What do you use that with?
You could use it a lot of stuff. Anything that has a minor 1 and a 4/5 that are major.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you think of any like popular songs that
So
take advantage
really,
of that?
the best way to use it is if you're playing like, let's say you're playing a blues in E, and somebody goes to the B chord because that's the 5 chord. Then you would play a C melodic minor over that B chord. Except start it from the 7. So it's B, C, D, E flat, F, G, A. It's easy because we're only dealing with once you know. All right, let me just explain this to you. This will blow your mind. The key of G has 1 sharp, right? Right,
Okay.
John? Play the key of G.
G.
What's the sharp?
Yeah, F sharp.
Okay. If we switch to G flat, every scale is 7 notes. So if 1 was sharp, then when we play the G flat, you'll have 6 flats and 1 natural.
Right. That's right. And that's a B
that
natural.
B is actually a C flat. It's a C flat.
Well, that's where they get dumb and confusing.
Well, no, because it's 6 flats.
There's an F,
Hey,
so
watch,
the F is the
natural.
Is the
That's right.
natural. But now I gotta.
That's
but
right.
now, yeah. But I mean, I know you're fine with it. But now I've got to memorize. Oh wait, no, but I have to call it a C flat. It's like ugh.
Well, only because you're in a flat key. But think of it like this: if you're in the key of B, you have 5 sharps.
Yep.
Right. You have F, C, G, D, A.
Right.
But if
so
you
I
go to B flat, you'll have 2 flats.
2 flats.
That's right. And 5 naturals.
I need to start taking guitar lessons.
Isn't that easy, though? Because then when you think about it, you don't have to think about it much. You could sit there and say, well, the key of A has 3 sharps. That means the key of A flat has 4 flats. There's only 7 notes. So whatever's not sharp has to get flatted.
I gotta say, after many, many years, my lick toolbox has more or less turned into like a lick Dixie cup.
Yeah, I hear you.
I play the same shit over and
A
over.
Lixie
And it's
cup.
not many.
Yeah.
I don't have much left.
Just make sure you move it a fret up or down the neck so you don't wear the frets out in the same
Yeah.
spot.
Right?
Same
why I
lick,
get stainless
same
steel
spot on a Fender. They'll wear
No,
it
but-
down
and
2 weeks.
So if you think of minors, John, there are 4 minors that we all play and only play. And what are the differences? Every minor is going to have a flat third, right? So now we're only changing 6s and 7s. You have minor with a flat 6, flat 7. That's a natural minor. You have harmonic minor. That's a flat 6 with a natural 7. You have melodic minor, natural 6, natural 7. And you have the Dorian minor, flat 7 with a natural 6. So there's only 4. It's only different 6s and 7s are the only thing that changes in minors. So if someone's playing a D minor,
Which one does Santana play on all the time?
Dorian. So he plays with a flat 7 and natural 6. Which in the box, if you were to play like an A minor, it would be 1 3 4 1 4 3, 4 3 1 4 3 1. It would be C B A G F sharp E. You know what I mean? So
Wait, say it again. What the Dorian mode has? What are the flats and sharps in Dorian?
Dorian is just flat third, flat 7.
Oh, okay.
So here's D minor. Yeah. Or here's what's cool about harmonic minor. If I'm playing a G7 to this chord, if I want to resolve to the 4 chord, when I play this G7, like let's say I'm playing a blues. Now I play A flat melodic minor. And I can resolve right to the C.
What's the second chord you're playing? Are you playing a C7?
C9. C9.
Oh, C9.
Just a C, E, B flat, D.
What was
G.
the first chord you were playing? A G?
Just a G7.
Yeah.
So, but
Right.
this type of. So there's the G, A flat, B flat. And it puts all that tension. So you can do all kinds. That's where the melodic minor. That's where it's used in jazz. You could also use double diminished. So if someone's like, it's like all different cool things, but it's simple. It's just you're playing outside because you're treating this, the G7. Right before you get to this, you change your perception of it by playing it as the 5 chord instead of the 1. So here it's the 1, right? Now I'm going to treat it like the 5. And now this becomes the new 1, just for that bar.
Mm.
Then here I go here, and I can play.
Krell bar.
What? What's he doing?
Ryan will like that.
He said, I just play Pentecostal scales because Catholics get in trouble playing with A minor.
Awful. Yeah, so you have A minor, A harmonic minor, A melodic minor, A Dorian. That's it. Those are the 4. And all I did was switch 6s and 7s around.
Yeah.
Flatted them, natural them, and so what I was saying was if you're playing A harmonic minor, right, like the Yngwie, right, you know that F E D C B A G sharp. Now, if someone's playing an E chord, they're going to be like, "Oh, you need to play Phrygian dominant." I can do the same thing.
Maybe what Ryan needs to get re-inspired in music is to listen to some Yngwie.
Pure Yngwie.
Yep.
Let's go.
Exactly. What is the
What would you rather, if you had to choose,
This is Saturday Night Live bit.
for a week, you can listen to nothing but Yngwie or nothing but Santana? Which one are you picking?
It's not even a question for me.
Yngwie.
I listened to the Alcatraz first album the whole week.
Alcatraz
I'd be on
trilogy's not bad too.
I'd do Yngwie the whole time.
Trilogy's good.
Just the first 3 records, I'm fine with them. The singer really stinks on the 3rd one.
Yeah.
You love Mark Balls.
Oh, he's awful. Awful.
Queen
Actually,
is in love.
The one with Jeff Scott Soto, or not Jeff Scott Soto, sorry, Jolyn Turner.
Oh,
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
guy can,
Odyssey.
That guy can sing like crazy. And he's also a Persian god of war.
Guys, it's getting late for me. I got to get up in the morning.
Me too. I got to go smoke a
Yeah,
cigar.
wow,
Gents,
we're
John,
past
thanks
that
for coming
point.
on. Ryan, thanks for coming on when you don't come on enough. Krellbar, good to see you.
Yep.
Everybody have a great week. And
Now it's time
go
to
watch
practice
Law and Order, Mikey.
learn all this
All right.
stuff.
We are out of here. Let me find my outro video. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot. Very good
It's gonna be
indeed.
sweet.